better experience because you can download them and within about 2 hours go, no, I don't want that, and get your money back. Like, it's actually superior.
All right, I'm going to run and get something to drink, and then we'll start everything up proper.
Oh, you're not even ready? Oh, epic fail.
I literally just finished my drink while I was staying. Never
See,
mind.
I brought 2 up with me. That way I don't have to leave.
And ass mug.
Yield is double fisting. Is that what I hear?
That's what you're hearing.
One's holding the drink, and we don't talk about where the other one is.
See, Alex wasn't even up here for the whole Pornhub talk. He's joining right in.
North Pole, South Pole. North Pole, South Pole. I think if we started an OnlyFans, it'd be the lowest earning OnlyFans.
We'd be called the Lonely Fans, is what we'd be called.
The Nonly fans.
Not the Nonly fans. Absolutely not. Ugh.
But at least Yield is being festive with his Bengals hat. Appropriate and festive on NFL Sunday.
See? Alex gets it. Tricky was like, take it off. I want your worship hat. I said, no, you're not getting it.
Why does he want your worship hat?
Are you implying that the Bengals are comprised of made-up people that are only useful one day out of the year?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
well,
what?
Right now they are.
Made up. No,
Santa Claus. I'm sorry, Santa Claus isn't real, Alex. I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you.
What? Aw, come on, Jeff.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta call my mom real quick. You lied to me.
What you been lying to me for, Bob?
Alice, I also got news for you.
What?
Neither is the Easter Bunny.
Well, I knew that. Who believes in
the Tooth Fairy is 100% legit.
Who believes in a 7-foot rabbit? Like, that's terrifying.
Who said there was 7 foot?
You think a small ass Easter bunny produces and hides all those eggs?
Absolutely.
No, it's a giant motherfucker. A small bunny can't make it around the earth or the world, that quickly. But a 7-foot one? Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's a 7-foot one that's only got an anus big enough to spit out normal size eggs?
Well, it spits out like 1,000 at a time. It's just like 1,000 small eggs, and they're all different colors and plastic. And already have the candy in them. The doo-doo candy.
Happy 600, I'm logging off.
All right. What is he doing now?
I don't know. Are you ready yet?
I'm muting my
Turn
phone.
your camera on.
I can't.
Yeah,
my camera is on.
The one guy who was complained about everyone's camera not being on.
Yeah, you made Alex turn his on.
My camera's on. Everybody got their Audacity up?
What, we're supposed to record this?
Yes.
Oh.
My beard is finally to a point where I can have it on camera.
Just say when.
Everybody hit record now.
Hold on, I gotta. Stupid Audacity's not bringing up the right speakers. Y'all just keep recording.
I am recording.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm good. I am recording.
All hail Megatron.
All hail Matacon.
Okay, was that everybody? I lost track.
You're good. You're good.
It's really hard to count when there's 5 of us.
It is. We added one more person instead of the normal 4. That's hard for Trick. He's got to take his socks off to count.
5 seconds of silence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, not all podcasts get to 600 episodes, but somehow, some way, these New York Rangers loving, video game playing, crazy people got to 600 episodes. How the did that happen? We love them anyway. So congratulations, guys. Keep the episodes coming. Ooh, yeah. Can you dig out?
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 600. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
Tricky, I don't know why you're so happy. You know, I was told recently, our guest, who's usually very informative, just told me there's no Santa Claus, and I've already had to call my mom before the show and ask why she lied to me all those years. So, you know, hopefully there's no kids listening to this. No Santa Claus, but Sandy Claus from The Nightmare Before Christmas is still absolutely real.
He brings the awesome, and he's in Christmas spirit already. It's I Yield to No One.
Yeah.
He keeps the fires burning and keeps Tricky's computer running. It's Matt. How you doing?
I feel very triggered by that opening intro.
I figured, well, okay, before we get to our guest, I figured I was going to play that at the start, which would, one, definitely trigger you, but I figured to get a response out of Alex and Yield. Neither one of them said anything, but at least you shook your head.
I rolled my eyes. You probably couldn't see it, but I'm like, really? Rangers?
And he is the most informed guest we've ever had on the show. We love having him on. We could not do this monument show without him. It's Mr. Jeff Hanna. How are you doing, sir?
I am so honored to be here to celebrate the fact that you've gotten 60 shows out on time.
Hey, we've been on a good stroll for the last 2 weeks. Or 2 years.
I know.
2 weeks.
I didn't think you were going to hit 60 by this weekend, but I think you finally cleared it. So, I mean, you're batting 100. That's like Mets starter average. You're good.
Well,
Yes!
I do have to give Alex and Matt credit because they're very good at getting shows done on time. I'm the one that keeps failing.
I know. We all know.
Jeff, how
because
the hell
you're
are
playing
you?
too much Division 2, and you're just hooked on it, and you can't. Luckily, to give Tricky credit, because he does now actually start editing before like midnight on the day the show is due, because he used to edit at the very last minute because he was too busy playing video games.
Well, I used to start my edit at like 3 o'clock in the morning and have like 5 hours to get it done.
And you complain that you get no sleep. I don't know why.
Jeff, how the hell are you, sir?
I am good, actually. Hold on, I'm turning the furnace off. I got a little background noise going there. I'm good. I mean, it's the holiday season, so there's, that. But other than that, I'm coming up on 2 years at NVIDIA now, which kind of blows my mind. It doesn't feel like I've been there for 2 years. Just got done with a big 5-week-long project and already moving on to something else. And it's exciting every day. I'm increasingly happy with moving from the games industry to a games industry adjacent. I feel bad for all the people that are kind of caught up in what's been going on in the industry this year, but I'm also proud of myself for kind of seeing that this was coming and making the move.
Absolutely.
Wait, before we go anywhere. So I was curious about that, Jeff, since you kind of brought that up. So with you being, where you were and what you've done in the industry, with everything going on, the layoffs, everything, do you feel that it is like a coming of the times, or has like the industry not in essence gotten too big for itself, but like the budgets have gotten too big and we've gotten ahead of ourselves? Or I hope I'm kind of explaining what I'm meaning, but
I think it's gotten big enough now that it's getting noticed more, but I also don't think it's any worse proportionally than it ever has been in the 30 years I've been related to the industry. A lot of what we're seeing, unfortunately, is because loans were free for so long that a lot of studios were built on the back of 0 or very low % interest leveraging from day zero, and now those loans are coming due because interest rates are going up. And so what are you going to do? In the specific case of Embracer, and we've talked about this before, the CEO and the founder of Embracer is a collector, not a developer. And I think he honestly thought that just buying game companies, they would appreciate over time. I don't know that he understood the fact that they have to put out quality product in order to increase in value. And so he ended up with this gigantic portfolio of IPs and studios that really haven't done much. And so now they're just jettisoning them to try and make the numbers match. So there's parts of it that are ugly because of the fact that interest rates have been low for so long. But and it's a horrible year. I'm not trying to diminish it, but I don't know that it's any worse than the relative numbers of layoffs that say happened in the late 90s when EA was buying things and shutting them down. It's just the industry has grown such that the absolute numbers now are much larger.
All right, let's just touch base with the Twitch chat real quick. We're live on Twitch. Caneless is here. Rick says, yo. And Caneless, Alex, he says, Santa is real.
Caneless, I would love to believe you, but Jeff has never been wrong before. So that's a mighty big titan you're going against there.
Wait, I've never been wrong on this show, and even that's probably a stretch.
No. As far as I'm concerned, Jeff, you ain't never been wrong.
Never been wrong.
Okay.
Also,
you walk into a store and tell people how to do their jobs.
Oh, I mean, at Walmart, sure.
Also,
hard to figure out.
Also, our social media manager, our girl behind the scenes, V, is in the chat. Thank you, V, for being here. I know you're currently laid up because you just recently had surgery, but I gratefully appreciate you guys being here as an older guest.
Man, has to go through surgery, recover from surgery, and listen to the show for, the length of it. It was rough.
I thought she had to go into surgery because of this show.
Had to go to the ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor.
That's what we're not telling everybody that.
Sorry, edit that part out.
Yes.
Wait, that means I was wrong. We can't edit it out.
All right, so let's do our updated trophy count. I am level 896 total trophies of 29,515 with 819 platinums. Alex?
Level 499 with a total trophy count of 9,587, a platinum count of 165 and 164 games. I got a new one this week.
All right, we'll get into that in a minute. Yield?
Currently a level 503 with a trophy count of 9888, jackpot, and a platinum count of 177.
Wouldn't jackpot be 777?
It would be, but I've got 888, so it's a jackpot.
Okay. Matt?
Level 220, total count 1,307, so absolutely no movement over the last week.
And Sid is level 879, total trophies of 26,046 with 820 plats. Yes, he passed me. I let him pass me, only because he submitted a Sophie's Trophies for this week. So we got that coming. And Jeff, I'm not going to ask you a trophy count, but do you happen to know your gamer score?
I don't, but I have moved on from calculating my self-worth based on arbitrary numbers. If you excuse me a second, I'm going to go check my FICO score. I'll be right back. No, I don't know, actually. I haven't been playing a lot of Xbox games, to be fair.
Okay, according to your gamer card that we have on Twitch.
No, I did run Starfield to the end. God.
Okay, according to your gamer card on Twitch, it says you are 52,787.
Sure, let's go with that.
But it says
Sounds good.
But it says your privacy settings are enabled, so it might not have updated in a while.
Oh. Hey, wait, if only I had a multitasking computer where I could pull up the Xbox app and actually figure this out.
Speaking of which,
Uh-huh.
Xbox app has downloaded onto my TV, so now I can play Xbox games on my TV.
Excellent.
But don't you need an Xbox controller?
52787 is correct.
No, I don't need an Xbox controller because I hooked up a DualShock to it, but I do need Game Pass to play any game, which I can go get for $1. So I might give it a shot to see how well it works.
And then he'll talk about never owning an Xbox, but technically he does.
I don't own an Xbox. I own a Samsung TV.
If you fire up Game Pass, then you technically own an Xbox.
That's like saying if I watch a show on Netflix, I own a movie theater. It's not the same thing.
Come on, work with me, Jeff.
Nope.
But also, here's the
And keep in mind, I'm always right.
Yes, just like the customers at retail. But that's the beauty of it, I guess, is you don't even need to own an Xbox to play Xbox games.
Right.
There was a topic that somebody passed along this past week where not Phil Spencer, but somebody else from Microsoft said they basically want to get Game Pass on everything, including Nintendo and PlayStation. I didn't put it in this week's agenda because I didn't think it really was that newsworthy because we've heard that before, but that's
the Trojan horse. They're sneaking into the other consoles ecosystems.
The very next day, Phil Spencer came out and said that they weren't actively doing that right now.
Oh, I didn't see the update. I just saw that headline.
Yeah. Should we start calling Game Pass the gateway drug? Is the gateway drug to everything Microsoft?
Well, it's the gateway drug to not having to wait for system updates every time you turn your console on.
I don't wait for system updates. I leave mine in rest mode. They updates while I was sleeping.
Oh, good. So you're just burning coal for no good reason. Got it.
If only we could get them to believe that about Skype, because every time I turn on Skype, update, and I don't know why.
Oh, who owns Skype, Alex? Do you know?
It's Microsoft. That's why I brought that up.
Yes. Updates, and I keep having to update my my graphics card too, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just saying, there's updates. Updates.
Okay.
While we're complaining about updates, the latest update for Baldur's Gate 3 was 27 gigabytes.
That's nothing.
It was a massive improvement or I should say, addition to the things that they added to the game.
Yeah.
I can say that, well, Ashley bought it and she's been playing it, but 27 gigabytes, that's bigger than most games.
Yeah. And they were advising some people with not a lot of hard drive space to uninstall the game and then re-download it, because that 27 gig unpacks to 130. And so the game takes about 130. So if you don't have an extra 130 free on your hard drive, the patch won't install. So the only thing you can do is just re-download the whole new game. Oh yeah, it's gigantic.
I also saw somewhere it said that if you buy it physically now, the fifth patch is already on the disc, so you don't have to download it anymore.
Oh wow.
But hey, they're getting the game smooth, going as good as it can right before everyone turns in their votes for the Game Awards.
Dark Knight in the chat says, "Hey guys, congrats on 600." And Kanelis says, "Jeff's never wrong."
So not true.
See?
So not true.
Well, you're not supposed to tell us that, Jeff. If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Yes.
Where do these stairs go? They go up.
All right, so let's get into what we're playing. Jeff, we'll start with you. What have you been playing, sir?
Most recently, I started playing Alan Wake 2, and then I remembered I had never finished Control, and then it had been so long, I've now decided I purchased the Alan Wake 1 remaster, and I'm going to run them Alan Wake 1, Control, Alan Wake 2, and just do the trilogy in one big shot. I played Starfield Critical Path all the way through on Game Pass. I didn't do any of the base building. I didn't use a weapon crafting station or an armor crafting station or making the medicines. I didn't even use the ship builder. I think I bought a ship and didn't even need to do that. And it's really amazing how much superfluous stuff is in that game. And then it's also pretty amazing to me how just bland the Critical Path ended up being. It wasn't a fun experience.
Okay. Is Control really a part of, I know they're in the same universe because there was Alan Wake DLC, but is Control really essential to the Alan Wake storyline?
I don't think it's essential, but they make references to the town, and in Alan Wake 2, you see references to the Federal Bureau of Control. There's definitely linkages there. I played Control when it was on Game Pass, and then it went off of Game Pass, and I want to play it again now that they've done the whole DLSS 3 or 3.5 update to it. It's outstanding, and the environment art direction on it is just brilliant. So I want to get back into it, and I figure if I'm going to play them, I may as well play them in order.
Gotcha.
So I want to tack on to that because I agree with Jeff that it's not essential, but you are missing a lot if you do not play both of them, because one of the DLCs for Control continues the story for one of the characters from Alan Wake 1. You find out what happened to that character, and it's just kind of like a neat furthering of that story. And then also, there are actual characters from the FBE, they're the FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control, in Alan Wake 2, and they play a critical part of the story. So it's just better if you experience both, because it's neat to see them meld those worlds together and continue to do it. So,
all right. Forgive me, I forget his first name, but Englehart. in the chat says, congrats on 600 guys. Thanks for the countless hours of entertainment over the years. Alex, what have you been playing, sir?
So I played some Rocket League on Thursday, but most of my time this week has been with my new Platinum Trophy, Metal Hellsinger, which I got as part of the PlayStation Black Friday sale. Got the PS5 version for $13, which is really good. Matt had commented, or he had said that he had gotten through the game mostly through normal and then cut it down to easy for the final boss fight. So got one big gripe with this game, but overall I really enjoy it. Like, I love the narration and the story. If you've never played it, it's kind of like Doom and Guitar Hero had a baby. The music is a big, huge aspect of it. I think the band that does a lot of the original songs is called Two Feathers. And they have like people come in from other well-known bands and they have them perform with them. Like one of the musicians from Lamb of God does some collaborative work with Two Feathers. And, you know, they're even selling DLC where it's got like Paramore songs and Disturbed and some more well-known bands. So music-wise, it's fantastic. And I even think that it was nominated for the Game Awards last year or the year before for its soundtrack. So great soundtrack. As just a shooter, like, it's a lot of fun. Just as like not another Doom, but just like a game kind of like Doom along those lines as a first-person shooter, a lot of fun. My issue is that I think with the whole rhythm aspect to it and keeping with the beat is kind of a bridge too far for me. Like, it's another layer I didn't really enjoy all that much. So like when Brutal Legend came out, people were like, you know, hey, this third-person action game and this real-time strategy elements don't really mix together well. And, you know, I respect the Outcast, which is this is their first game. So tremendous effort for their first game. It's phenomenal. But I respect that they did something very unique because Metal Hellsinger is incredibly unique. But the whole keeping with the beat thing while you're trying to avoid enemies where you're swarmed a lot of the time, you know, trying to, you know, time everything when you're also dodging attacks and like trying to aim while they're moving around. It's just not as much of a fun experience as just playing the game as a first-person shooter. So they have an accessibility option where you could just say, keep the beat or keep all your shots with the beat. And it basically, yes, does take difficulty away from the game, but to me, it made the game a more fun experience. I just didn't like the whole extra layer of keeping the beat. So I played it with the accessibility options, and I had quite a bit of fun with it. Yeah, just as a first-person shooter, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, and they've already kind of, if you play through the end of the game, you know where they're going next, which, I don't know, they may have some issues with that. The story is the protagonist has to find her voice. By the end of the game, you get half the voice. You get that from hell. The other half is in heaven. So we kind of know where it's going, and I don't know if that's going to cause some problems for the studio, if, you know, your character is attacking heaven, but we'll see. But as far as the game goes, my only issue is the fact the beat, you know, is just a little bit too much for me, and it's just more fun to knock that off and just play as a first-person shooter. But yeah, otherwise, a really good game. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I got the Platinum Trophy, so.
All right. Matt, floor is yours.
So a good portion of my time was spent playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my friends. We've done... So my one buddy and I are basically at the same part of the story for both of our games. And then he chose one path and I chose the other, and I was debating whether I'm going to stick with that or not. So I think I am. I'll find it interesting how well or how much the story departs from what his choices are. But I've been having a ton of fun with that. I did start Final Fantasy 16, and I was very surprised. I did not just get a trophy for pressing X somewhere, so I will probably stick with the game. Then I got on the trendy bandwagon and started playing Lethal Company, which is a little roguelike type adventure. You're basically given a spaceship by your corporation, and you have to go to these moons and salvage scrap. But you're getting hunted by things inside the level. It's very spooky, tricky. You cannot play this game.
Spiders.
And yeah, giant ones that like to trap you in the webs.
Oh,
so
boy.
Consider that your Christmas present. I've given you the present of knowing what not to play.
That's a nightmare factory for me.
Totally should have had him play it.
No, I'm not going to do that to Tricky. I told him if I ever wanted off the show, he will get a spider somewhere, but So, fun fact: when Tricky was over we were trying to diagnose an issue with his PC. My dog has a little stuffed spider. I was like, Zelda, do not come down here.
Look, here's the thing: you can't be messing with Tricky with the fake spiders because he's got real spiders coming his way soon.
Yeah, you saw that Facebook post, right? That's nightmare fuel for me.
Spiders the size of your hand coming for New York.
They're golden orb weavers. They don't do anything.
They gotta have something to eat all the big old rats in New York City.
Listen, I don't care. A dead spider is the only good spider.
Anyways, I've also been playing. I broke out the Quest headset again. I got back into Half-Life Alyx, which is amazing fun, as well as what was the other VR game I played? Geez. Okay, we're just gonna stop there because I can't remember what else. But Half-Life Alyx on the VR headset.
There's not that many of them. We can start naming them until you hear the one it was. It's not going to take but like 30 seconds.
You know, the amount of VR games I have on my headset was actually surprising, Jeff.
Is it Fruit Ninja?
No,
that wasn't it. Okay.
No, what? You got 2 more guesses before you run out of options.
Exactly.
Yield what games have you been playing, sir?
Star Wars Squadrons.
I've been playing video games. Is that what you're looking for? No.
Are you really going to be this difficult on this episode?
Yes, because what would be different than any other of the 599 episodes?
No, we're asking how many games of solitaire you've played.
Well, it was a slow week at work, so. So I've been playing some Power Wash Simulator. I've been playing some Far Changing Tides. I've been playing some Rocket League. I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic. I've been playing Fired Back Up World of Warship Legends. Played a little bit of that today. I've been playing some Borderlands pre-sequel, working my way towards the trophy of completing every level 1 challenge with 1 character. So I'm grinding my way to the last 2 that I have to get done. And I was messing around some more with Real Truck Simulator USA. I think I've gotten all the trophies I can get because the game's borked. And I think that's it.
All right, and I've only played a little bit of Division 2 this week, mostly focusing on Hogwarts Legacy. Thank God for Arachnophobia mode on that, because there's a shitload of spiders in that game.
Wait, how would you know? You've turned Arachnophobia.
Yeah, you turned it off, so how do you know if they're in there?
Because, well, one of the trophies in the game is you have to catalog them. You have to get enough power, then you have to hit L1 and L1 at the same time, and it brings down this mystical power and logs it in. But even though they change the way they look in the gameplay, they do not change the way they look in the menu.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, so they don't turn them off. They just change what they look like. It's the robot thing for making first-person shooters for Germany.
Well, what they do is, like, for each of the legs, they put a little circle. Then for the body, they put a circle, but there's like spaces in between the circles.
That sounds creepier.
It's cartoony, and Alexa's gonna go off right now, telling me the Rangers are about to start playing.
Did you ever play, Jeff or any of the other guys? Do you ever play Grounded with Arachnophobia mode on?
I have not played Grounded.
So obviously, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and there's giant spiders everywhere. But you turn on Arachnophobia mode, it's just like this giant circle with 2 other circles where the eyes are supposed to be, and you're like, somehow that is actually more terrifying than seeing a spider come after me.
And I've been playing Division Resurgence, and I know you guys are probably gonna make a comment about this, but I've actually been reading Division lore books. I've gotten through 2 of them already. Learning some backstories and learning some of the stories between the first and second game. And actually, the second book was between the first and second game. The first book was before the first game even came into play. So it's actually pretty interesting. But I'm a Division nerd, so I get wrapped up in that stuff. All right, that's all I've been playing. Oh, Mortal Kombat 1. I forgot that. Mortal Kombat 1. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 1.
You know, Tricky, you say how you're expecting us to give you shit. I have no room to talk. I read books from the Descent series, so I am not one to speak about reading into lore.
Jeff, have you ever gone so far to play a game so much that you would look into reading the books of the lore?
I know I have. I couldn't tell you what it is, though. I much prefer the option to actually read the book outside of the game versus Bethesda just throwing 18 gazillion books in the game and calling it playtime. I don't care for in-game lore at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we only have two topics this week. The first one I didn't want to pass because I wanted this to be more of a open conversation show than a topic-based show. So, but the first topic we have is coming from IGN and it's written by Ryan Dinsdale. This is the PlayStation Plus games announced for December of 2023. We're getting Lego 2K Drive for the 4 and the 5. The game that Yield's apparently loving right now, Power Wash Simulator for the 4 and the 5, and Sable for the 5. I've never heard of Sable, but when that was announced, I'm hearing a lot of good things about it now. That it's a really good game.
I haven't heard about it either. I'm going to look it up.
It was a Game Pass game when it originally came out.
The look on Jeff's face like he doesn't know what it is either.
Oh, I recognize the box. Well, the box art, but I never played it.
It's interesting. It's definitely a desert adventure kind of game. The art style is what caught me. It's cell shaded, but not. It's a weird mix of how they do it.
Here we go. I'm gonna go watch the trailer.
Z Prophet in the chat while you watching the trailer says, thumbs up, long time. Z Prophet, I recognize the name, but I forget who you are. If you want to put in the chat who you are so I can give you proper credit. Well, not that your Twitch name is not proper credit, but you know what I mean. All right, Alex, you have anything to say about Sable?
Have not heard of it. I saw these list of games and nothing really jumped out at me, but I'm not going to poo-poo anything just because, to be fair, I haven't even seen a trailer for any of these games, so I'm, kind of in the dark on them. So I don't know. I just started a new game yesterday, which I forgot to mention. I'll get to it on a few future episodes. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, it was just kind of a month that I looked at the games like, oh, who knows? Maybe I'll circle back to those. I'm really not looking to spend much money right now on video games, so yeah, maybe start playing the free games.
All right, Yield, you watched the trailer. What do you think?
It doesn't look too bad. Looks like worth picking up at least.
And you get it for free, so it's a good pickup.
Yeah. Lego 2K Drive, I played it for free when they had it for free. Well, it was a free weekend. What was it? A month ago? 2 months ago?
I liked it.
It's all right. It's a Lego game. It'll be something that I'll dabble with for a little bit, then get bored and move on, and then come back to. Because it playing it for I played it for a couple hours. It was enough to go, well, this is kind of neat, but not enough for me to be like, I'm going to play this for hours on end.
Yeah. I've been looking for a Lego game to play for a while, so I'll definitely be jumping into this one.
Oh, Tricky, I do. I'm sorry to cut in here, but I did want to give a shout. The name you were looking for, Jeremy Englehart.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Remember the Backlog Beat Down as well as Trophy Horse. To give a shout out to Jeremy for being in the chat. Is this a game where you build your car with Legos? Is it kind of be anything you want it to be, or
in a sense, yes. You're doing a lot of racing with either a Lego car or a boat or a plane and.
Whoa! Boats, planes, cars. That's Diddy Kong Racing territory right there. That's their stuff.
Well, and there's also power-ups. So.
All right. Z Prophet says he was the guy that was on the Batman cast a while back. That's a long time ago. He was the guy who guessed the Batman Beyond game was possible from the last games. And then Average Geeks in the chat says, I love Sable the first time she was in Playboy. The sequels weren't as good, though.
Well played.
We all know who that is.
Well played.
I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to make that joke. I'm glad Riley come in here with that. All right, so.
Well, her life has certainly turned out much better than than her opposite in the early WWF days of the 1990s WWF. For anyone who's been following the story of Tammy Sitch.
Yeah. She's what, doing 17 years now?
Yeah, and no probation.
Yep. All right. Next topic that we have. ReedPop is seeking a buyer for Eurogamer, games industry, VG 24/7, and Rock Paper Scissors, Rock Paper Shotgun, and more. This is coming from Christopher Dryan. ReedPop is investigating the potential sale of its gamer network business. This includes GamerIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG 24/7, and Dicebreaker. The business also holds shares in Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, and Hookshot. Though this does not impact any of the other ReedPop properties in the UK, including MCM, Comic-Con, and Popverse. ReedPop, if I'm not mistaken, is also the company that's running the PAX events and was recently put in charge of E3, correct?
Yes, and then also decided to no longer have anything to do with E3.
Right.
No.
Yeah, they bounced off of that like within 2 months after getting assigned to it. It was amazing.
All right. Your thoughts on this, guys? It seems like all these websites that are being owned by one company are slowly going away.
It's almost like consolidation in the media space turns out to be a bad thing long term.
Yeah, and that kind of almost is anything.
Yeah,
and we made that comment when everybody was buying up the video games. Is that it's good for you short term, but in the long term, you lose your ability to be like, if they come in and be like, well, we're shutting you down, and well, wait, we don't want to shut down. Well, yeah, but we own you.
Right.
So
you start a website, you make it reasonably effective, you get a buyout to be. This is the same playbook that happened to Gawker Media, 10 years ago. They acquired all these other websites, things were going great, and then the people that owned Gawker sold it off to like this venture capitalist firm, and they changed the content to where they were just cross-posting the same bland stories. Like you would get sports stories on Lifehacker, and it was just weird, and then they killed Jezebel off, and then everyone lost interest in all of it. This is that. Like whoever now owns ReedPop decides that they don't want to do games media for whatever reason, so all those independent game sites that they purchased over the years are now going to get nuked. Or they're going to get bought out by somebody that is going to buy them and then slowly change them over time because they have the captive audience of people that have subscribed and won't bother to change their viewing settings. So GameIndustry.biz could very easily, hypothetically, start showing like, NFT bro crap. It happens. NFTs are bad, kids. Don't buy them.
The Almanac 88 in the chat says, "Happy 600th, guys. Didn't think you'd still be going when I started listening at single digits on Sarcastic Gamer."
Well, thanks for listening for that long. I'm sure we didn't.
That's a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Well, I mean, as it is, most podcasts don't last past 7 episodes, so.
True.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't torn each other to bits by this point after all these weeks of recording together.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn the show over to Matt for a reason, but before we do that, let's... What?
Do I not get to...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Make a comment on this story?
I apologize, sir.
No, you don't.
No.
You're like, open conversation. Fuck Alex and his opinions, but... No, I have a question about this because I have a background. My degree is in, journalism, and, part of Sarcastic Gamer, like I wrote for them and then Big Red Barrel.
And then Proven Gamer.
Well, some for Proven Gamer. Although that last site was amateur hour, so I felt like I was shoveling donkey shit at the circus when I was working for the last one. No, I'm joking.
It's a fair comment, so.
But no, so like seeing the explosion of blogs and video game blogs and websites and stuff, and now gradually seeing them disappear or, things like that. And just seeing like a story like this where we have all these media sites being tried, on the chopping block, because obviously if they were truly profitable or, really good for the bottom line, they wouldn't be being chopped. And this may be a question more that Jeff can answer than anybody else, but The bubbles clearly burst on blogs, but overall in video game websites, is there just like only room or space now for a few, like your IGNs and your GameSpots? Are we going to start to see a lot of these sites just kind of go by the wayside, just go on the chopping block and never return?
It wouldn't surprise me. It's all advertising based, so maybe there's something going on where advertisers feel that they're better served by pushing their impressions on TikTok or Instagram, or again, it's like I was talking about earlier. Money is no longer free, right? Like the interest rates on loans are ridiculous. So these businesses have to better choose where they're going to do their ad impressions, and maybe gamer sites aren't giving them the return on ad impressions that social media sites are, or something else is going on. Whatever it is, it's coming down to money at some point and access to it.
I kind of feel like people just don't really want to read long articles anymore. Like they want to read the Twitter blurbs and stuff like that, or have a 20-second video on TikTok tell them everything they need to know.
Right.
But as far as going to a website and reading like a full review, which is why the numbers are still important, because people just want to see the number or the pros and cons, but just people don't want to read, take 10 minutes to read an article anymore.
I wouldn't doubt it. In which case, the advertisers see that they're not getting the impressions, and then long form goes by the wayside. Yeah.
All right, that Almanac 88 is actually Marky Frazier, who has been a long time listener. He was actually the one of the people I was trophy racing early in the days before he decided to fully kick my ass. So we're not.
Well, and Marky Frazier kicking ass in the annual rarity event this year.
Yes.
I think Frazier's still number one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do our first audio clip. I'm gonna do this weird because the other ones I have on my mixer, but this one was set in late. So this one I'm gonna do through my microphone. So if it's a little choppy, I apologize.
Hey, Trophy Whores. It is Riley, a.k.a. The Brain 76. Congratulations on 600 episodes. That is a hell of a milestone, and I hope you guys are as proud of yourselves as we all are of you. Here's to 600 more.
All right. Thank you, Riley, for that. You guys are all quiet.
Thank you, Riley.
Should we have said something?
It was just dead quiet. Like, I didn't hear background noise or nothing. It was like, I thought for a second Skype kicked out. All right. Yeah. So, talking with Matt, as I said, I didn't want to do like a fully topic heavy show. So,
that's a first.
Whoa.
Well, I don't do that on the Monument shows. And originally...
I'm sorry. Was that not supposed to be funny?
And originally I had a quiz for you guys, but we're going to delay that until next week. So Matt decided that because he's essentially the newcomer to the show, he wanted to give us questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Matt to let Matt ask us all questions.
Oh, jeez.
Just so that we're clear, this is where the Grinelli takeover has begun. So just make sure you mark this point in history.
I'm going with C.
Like that one movie, guy just writes C down for every answer.
Yes, because you're bound to pass if you always C.
If I was ever a teacher, I'd be that type of teacher that would fuck with kids and make sure the answers go A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D.
Yes.
Just to make them paranoid.
Absolutely. I like that idea. So actually what we're going to do is we will go to listener questions first and foremost, but yes, once we get by listener questions, what I guess I decided, because I didn't confer with any of you, because who cares? What I'm going to do...
Let Maticon take the wheel.
Is I have a number of questions, some sentimental, some not, and I made sure that they would be, that our honored guest would be able to answer some of them as well. Don't want to leave Jeff out of the conversation. So
I'm an
we will
Xbox
get your
user on
opinion.
a PlayStation show. I'm used to being left out of the conversation.
All right. Well, Matt, before you read the listener questions.
I'm just going to edit this out, Tricky.
Time to check my social media,
And before you do that, I would just want to give a shout out to Skull Viper Bones, who I've known for close to 20 years. He's in the chat. First time coming to Twitch. Watch us. What's up, Skull? Nice to see you, buddy. All right, Matt, it's all yours.
I can't wait till you see what I edit into that. Anyways. So, first question from the community, Tom's Crawford. Who has been the most productive returning guest over the years? And my wife had a very particular answer for that one.
I'll go first, and this is not just because he's on the show. It's absolutely Jeff. Jeff has been the bright spot of guests on the show. Like, because, Jeff, every time you come on the show, there's so much we learn and so much that we like. You're the one guest where when you start talking, we all just shut up and just keep listening.
What I'm hearing is I should just go make my own show.
I would listen to it.
I don't want to do that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll see how long I can continue to be that way in the industry. Even after 2 years, I feel like I'm starting to fade away from it a little bit.
All right, Alex.
Oh man, all our answers can't be Jeff, right?
Sure,
they
I
could.
mean, that's who I'm picking. So
As long as I'm C.
Listen, just imagine that there's a nice bike pump behind Jeff's head, and it's just inflating his ego even more.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I did that enough. Not that you're an egomaniac, Jeff, but I'm pretty sure I did that enough when I told him he was never wrong.
Believe that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick anyone but Jeff. I mean, we've had a lot of great guests, but like the insight, the knowledge that Jeff brings are just phenomenal. You can't get that anywhere else. So it's got to be Jeff.
Thank you. All right.
All right, Yield.
Jeff.
What?
All right, good.
Oh, that was his answer. Okay.
Jeff, what's your answer?
I don't know any other guests you've had on this show.
600 episodes. He's listened to 5 of them.
You've only got 8 out on time. So.
And all 5 episodes, it was the ones he was on.
Yeah. Hear how badly I
That's
screwed
right,
up.
Jeff. You're allowed to vote for yourself. That's fine.
Okay, I'll be like Ted Cruz in that.
All right, let's adjust that, Jeff. Who's the most influential host you've been on the show with?
Oh God, I plead the fifth. I refuse to answer.
Oh dear. All right. Next question. Resident Daryl writes in, only one can stay, the others are blinked out of existence. Are you getting rid of Minecraft, Fortnite, or Call of Duty? Jeff, you first.
Call of Duty. Because there'll be another one next year anyway, so it'll come back.
You can't get rid of it. Tricky.
What were the options again?
Minecraft,
Fortnite, Call of Duty.
I'm sorry, sweet Mama D. Minecraft.
Sorry, man. Alex, which ones are you getting rid of? Or which one do you want to keep? Minecraft, Fortnite, or Call of Duty?
I will say Minecraft. I don't play it, but I don't know. It seems like more wholesome fun than those other two, and a more safe space for kids. Although I could be wrong about that. So I'll just go with that one.
Okay. Yep.
So we're looking for which one to get rid of?
You're getting rid of 2, the other one stays.
Getting rid of 2, the other one stays.
Wait.
If we're keeping one, we're keeping as much as I have poked fun at it. We're keeping Minecraft.
Hold on. Maybe I misunderstood the question. I thought we were getting rid of one and getting rid of the other
2.
No, you're keeping one.
Oh, in that case, my answer is Call of Duty.
Oh,
I
You're
thought
keeping-
I
You're
don't want to
keeping
keep Call of Duty. I want to nuke Call of Duty.
I thought we were giving the answer to the one we wanted to get rid of.
Yes.
I just went on because you guys obviously didn't listen to the question. So I mean,
Well, that's fair.
I did.
Alex
The one
is
I
fine.
wanted to keep.
Call of Duty's the one to say. Sorry.
Okay.
No, Minecraft's the one
Are
to save.
you crazy?
Hey, Jeff said Minecraft just like me, which means I'm right too.
Yeah. You get rid of Call of Duty because another one's coming out next year anyways, so it's not like you're
Yeah.
going to be without it for a while.
No,
Tricky, why would you pick the option that benefits Bobby Kotick?
I think
Why would you do that?
the idea here is that if you get rid of Call of Duty, it never comes out. It never existed. It
Yes.
Okay, my answer still stands.
Yeah, my answer's still staying.
Absolutely.
Get rid of. But
Yeah,
my one was going to be get rid of Call of Duty, but if I'm getting rid of 2, we'll keep Minecraft and get rid of the other 2.
I will absolutely keep Minecraft all day long.
Kaneless says, "Oh boy, Call of Duty goes. Replace Call of Duty with Killzone. We need a new one." And Jeremy says, "If I'm keeping one, Minecraft stays 100%."
No, we need a new Resistance.
Yes.
We don't need another Killzone. We need Resistance.
Fun fact: I picked up the 3rd Resistance today, completing my 1, 2, 3 collection.
Number 3 is the best one by far. And 1 and 2 are good, but 3 is great.
Everybody answered? Good. Tricky, why don't you cue up the next audio?
Hey guys, it's Resident Daryl. I wanted to get on here and say congratulations on 600 episodes. That is a huge milestone. You guys are doing something that most podcasts will never, ever, ever do. So that is absolutely incredible. I really hate I couldn't be on the show with you guys this week. Tricky and I have talked behind the scenes just about how hard it is for me to get on there and shoot the breeze with you guys. But I wanted to give you a shout out, say some nice things, and just be like, hey, congratulations, guys. 600 episodes. This time from 500 to 600 felt like a blink of an eye. Felt like it just happened so fast. And you guys are steady putting it out there and doing the thing. So I'm super happy for you guys. I got a couple things I wanted to share with you and some feedback. You know, you guys don't always get all of the feedback. I know Tricky gets a lot of it, the good and the bad. So here it is. First off, CM Punk sucks. Second off, we need more Patreon content. Guys, you launched a Patreon, and yet it is dry as the Sierra Desert. It is dry as a CM Punk promo. Just boring. Nothing happening. Let's go, man. Let's go. We got to get more Patreon content. As I say, third, we need more wrestling talk. The wrestling talk is always so passionate. I got to say, and this is a compliment to Yield, like whenever you guys talk wrestling, that is when Yield is the most engaged. It's good times. It's good talk. So we need an actual wrestling segment into the show. From 600 on, you got to have the wrestle talk, guys. I think that is some of the best stuff, okay? Next up, you got to read Resident Daryl's trophy count. That's right. This is a long time coming, long ongoing segment of the show that has been needed. It has been missed. I am a level 722 with a total trophy count of 18,820 with 415 platinums. That should be said each and every week. It should be updated. You know why? Because I am a crucial part of the Trophy Horrors universe. That's right. I keep Tricky honest. I keep Tricky on his toes, and he would have given up trophy hunting a long time ago had it not been for your boy Resident Daryl. Next up, I think the longer shows are great. I think the addition of Matt to the cast has been really, really wonderful. I think Matt brings, albeit he likes anime and he doesn't like wrestling. I don't understand that. So, like, no one's perfect, but I'm glad Matt's part of the team. I think that he rounds out the panel pretty well. Having a couple tricky haters on there and then having a voice of reason is always nice. So definitely keep it up, guys. Keep giving Tricky a hard time. Tricky, you keep doing you. Despite what the haters say, and I appreciate you guys. I listen in almost every single week, and I just want you guys to know that since before 300, when I first discovered you guys, to now, you know, I'm super proud of you guys, and I'm excited that you're still around. So keep kicking it, and remember 2 things. CM Punk is cancer, and anime is for pervs. Got him! Got him!
Wow. Okay.
I do have to ask, and thank you for Daryl for putting that much effort into the shout out for 600. And you know, just keep keep bringing up CM Punk's name. He loves that. He loves the advertising. So does WB. They love the money. But was that his band Ninja Loot the intro into his audio?
Yes, that's actually the intro to Loop Brothers podcast.
He's also doing a little advertising there for his band's music.
I'm kind of amazed that as long as that was, it still felt shorter than the Lion King social media thing.
That's because your ears are ringing for so long after hearing the Lion King social media thing.
Such haters. Yield, you want to comment on his wrestling suggestion?
Well, hey, we can kill two birds with one stone, and the Wrestle Talk could be like a Patreon specific thing, you know? I don't feel like we want to have like super long wrestling talk here on the podcast because people come here for video games, so they may kind of tune out. But having it as like a Patreon episode, you know, that could be two things there. Give Daryl more Patreon content and the wrestling content that he so much loves.
Yield, what do you think about the wrestling section?
It fits in every now and then.
The only thing is, if we do a wrestling segment, we're gonna lose Matt for like 20 minutes.
Every time.
That's why we say
that's why Alex said Patreon.
Yeah, Matt doesn't have to be here for it. You know, he doesn't have to sit there and play his Steam Deck for 20 minutes.
All right, some comments from the chat. Redbid Rick says we need a new Time Splitters.
Yes.
Well, that just got killed.
And then Saber says, much respect. Do you guys may have to put it on 600? And then he says, stop hating on CM Punk. Jeremy says, love him or hate him, you can't deny what he does for the ratings. Saber says, lame. And then he says, what Daryl sees is from a fan's perspective, not a money perspective. He doesn't have the vision to see the money that's going to be getting made.
Well, to be fair, and we'll get off the wrestling talk here shortly, but CM Punk and WWE broke an all-time record on social media views this past week after his return. 71 million. Broke the all-time record. So wasn't Hulk Hogan, wasn't Stone Cold, wasn't The Rock, wasn't John Cena. It was CM Punk. So whether you like him or not, dude's money.
Jeff, where do you fall on the whole wrestling conversation? You like wrestling?
No. I don't dislike it. I don't follow it.
Meanwhile, Jeff, an intellectual.
No, right. Yeah, sure. No, it's not. It doesn't resonate with me, but that's okay. I mean, many things I like don't resonate with other people.
All right, Alex, you might be in trouble. Daryl just entered the chat and says CM Puke.
Again, keep his name in the news. That's WWE wants that.
All right, Matt, floor is yours again.
All right, next listener question coming from Thomas. And this may be a little bit more geared to you, Tricky, since it's about charities. But he says, your countless work with charities and your endless desire to help others, what has been the most rewarding part of your endless efforts to help those less fortunate than you?
Honestly, it's just the knowledge of knowing that what I love doing in gaming is somehow helping others. I think I've said this on the show many times. One of the things I've always wanted to do with Extra Life is actually go to the actual hospital that I'm raising money for and do the 24 or 25-hour marathon at the hospital with the kids I'm raising the money for.
Wow, make these kids watch you be crappy at video games. Real charitable.
Unfortunately,
here, let's play Spam.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that. I haven't been able to do that because of health issues. They worry about me bringing in, or potentially other people bringing in, some illnesses or something that could possibly make the kids sicker. So that's always been a kibosh. But the hospital did say that they're going to try to work with me in a way to possibly do like a sterile room or something like that to do that.
Yeah, because obviously, a lot of the kids have compromised immune systems, and you might not think about it, but bacteria that may not be harmful to us, if it gets in their system, it can be catastrophic. So, you got to appreciate the hospital doing the right thing and still trying to work out something with you. But, obviously the kids come first.
Resident Dale in the chat says, I log on to hear this nonsense. Come on, man. CM Puke sucks. And Skull Viper Bone says, Tricky said a long time ago, Halo was coming to PlayStation. LOL. In a way, they did. And then it's something marked off like he cursed. I don't know what he said. Rick says, Daryl, you mentioned him first. Daryl says, the little first words I heard when I logged on was CM Puke. and Rick says it's because you audio recorded, and then V gives a shout out to Skull Viper Bones. Yeah, so I love doing the charity. I do it every year because it started on Sarcastic Gamer 15 years ago now. 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was touched by the story of Victoria Emmon, and it's just always something that stayed in my heart and something that I will do every single year that I can. It's something I love doing.
Actually, I can add to that question. So I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I was part of Sarcastic Gamer on the writing team and editing team during the inception of when Doc came up with Extra Life. So I was actually at the PAX Extra Life parties at PAX, where we did a bunch of like fundraising for Extra Life and everything, where Sarcastic Gamer community got together, a lot of the staff and everything, and we would do auctions for raffles for some awesome prizes, like signed like BioShock action figures and just a lot of game memorabilia and stuff. So getting to meet everybody that you talk to online or you're part of the writing staff with, and then also raise money and raise awareness for something that Doc believed in. Even though Doc isn't part of Extra Life anymore, it's nice to see the charity go on. But just being part of the early days of Extra Life and just seeing the entire Sarcastic Gamer crew come together, as well as with the community, and just seeing it launch and just into the stratosphere and how it's gotten bigger and bigger has been something like, even though I don't really participate anymore because of my work schedule, it is incredible to see people like Tricky and just the amount of work and effort that still goes into raising awareness for Extra Life and the origin story for what was the catalyst for the charity itself.
Thank you. Awesome. Yield, do you have any work or anything with charities you want to pitch?
No.
Jeff, have you ever done any charity stuff?
I have a charity called Money for People.
CEO is Jeff Hanna.
Yeah, it's from Seinfeld. No, I don't. I have done Extra Life. Volition was actually very good about giving over space for people to stream and do Extra Life in the building. I appreciate Doc setting it up and everything it's done. I just have not. It's not something I can set aside a good amount of time for, unfortunately. So I donate, but I don't participate.
Fun fact. Sorry to cut you off. I actually met Jeff through when he was on the Sarcastic Game podcast with Doc and Lando. That's how the first time I ever reached out to Jeff and said, "Hey, I know you don't know us, but would you like to come on the show?" And ever since then, that's how our friendship has come to what it is. And I consider Jeff a good friend now.
Yep. I listened to an episode of Sarcastic Gamer once, and they were talking nice about Red Faction Gorilla. So I emailed him a thank you, and that led straight to where we are right now. Yep.
The only thing I can advertise, it's not like I participate, but I love the speedrunning community, and I love that every, 2 big events during the year and a bunch of smaller ones, but the Awesome Games Done Quick, Summer Games Done Quick, they always do 2 large fundraisers, both for Medicine Sans Frontier as well as the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So every year when they're up, you're going to see me advertising it all over Facebook, all over Channel 3. Just, again, people loving to play games fast, and raising money to do it for good causes. So, I don't have any involvement, but I love pitching it out there every time that they hold their events. It's a lot of fun to watch. Thomas also goes on to the next question, where he says, other than The Division, what game has kept you going over the years? Jeff?
Sea of Thieves?
Yes, Sea of Thieves has been a very long-running game I return to, for sure. That's probably the biggest one for me of the modern era is Sea of Thieves. I've also, when I'm struggling right now, I don't think anyone's actually updated the Docker container. I run a Satisfactory server that a few other tech art colleagues and I from the industry build up in, and that's been going for a couple of years now. But yeah, Sea of Thieves, really? It's a hard question for me to answer because it wasn't even until very recently that I found myself completely enjoying a game without even thinking about trying to deconstruct portions of it in my brain to see how it was done, which is a long-running thing for me when I was in the industry. It's like I couldn't enjoy them as a medium. I enjoyed them as a learning experience, and I would still finish them. I'm getting now to where I can actually enjoy them as a medium again. So I might have an answer different from that of Sea of Thieves in a couple of years.
Yeah. Tricky? If you have an answer other than what I'm thinking, I'm going to be very surprised.
He always said other than the Division.
Yeah. Division 2. This is a game other than a Division.
Oh, yeah. All right. Division 2. Skull Viper says Sea of Thieves was too cartoony for him.
Yeah, but that's
I'm sorry, his life is full of seriousness.
But I mean, like, you look at Rare's work over the course of what they do. Banjo-Kazooie, you've got Battletoads, you've got Killer Instinct definitely wasn't cartoony, but a lot of the stuff they do, Viva Pinata, like, has that kind of cartoon funness and charm to it. So I would say that Sea of Thieves being that way just kind of feels at home with them. Like, I wouldn't want like a serious 3D realistic pirate adventure from them, because what they do visually is so much more fun when it's in that style of colorful cartoony characters.
If you look at any of the long-running live service games, not your yearly releases of Call of Duty and Madden, but you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox, you look at Sea of Thieves, they all trend away from photorealism because the more stylized art is going to last longer without having to be redone. And so the length of the lifespan of the live service game is naturally, from the get-go, extended by the fact that you don't have to keep up with the latest and greatest. Games that try to achieve photorealism in any given era don't hold up nearly as well as games that are stylized over time. It also extends Sea of Thieves to players outside of the mature audience. It can be a teen-rated game because the death isn't death and there is no blood. It's all just sort of it's a Disney ride of a game, and that's okay for what it is because the content has gotten very deep and the gameplay mechanics are outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example to back Jeff up. I mean, do we all remember how good the NFL or the Dreamcast looked, the games looked when that came out? And now you go back and you play some Dreamcast games and you realize, well, this doesn't hold up quite as well. Right. And then you go back and play like Sly Cooper or Wind Waker, and
it's exactly like you remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Knight in the chat says his game is Ark. He always goes back to it.
Did you actually answer Tricky, or are we just sticking with Division 2?
We're sticking with Division 2.
Okay. Alex, you, sir.
So my answer is probably, easy to pick out. I mean, we talk about these games so much because, it's just like a little footnote in every week when we're playing. But Rocket League, this year had probably my favorite Halloween event they've had, and they've been doing it for 5, 6, 7 years with the crossover with Nightmare Before Christmas. So they're still managing to keep me invested. I think going to the season passes, the 3-month-long season passes, or Rocket Pass, if we're being, accurate for Rocket League, really kind of changed the game. Like, yes, I think there was like the free-to-play aspect of that really introduced a lot of, I don't think it's, done the game. I think it has kind of rejuvenated the game for a lot of people, but I also think, there are negative aspects to making things free to play, especially when the game's ecosystem is so reliant on microtransactions. But the Rocket Passes and, how they have these little events like the Christmas events every year, the holiday events and stuff like that, they've kept me invested. So they've learned what to do without they haven't had to make a sequel. They just stick with Rocket League 1. And honestly, I think that while we may not always, we don't want everything in the industry to become a games of service, having one game that you play that's of that style is nice to always be able, you don't always feel like starting a new game, like a big adventure game or something like that, or, just, it's like, oh man, this game's gonna be 30 hours. Do I really want to do this now? But something like Rocket League or World of Warships or, Tricky with a Division, it's like, oh, well, this is comfortable. I'm just going to sit down and play it for a half an hour, and then I'll be done for the night. That's all you need sometimes.
Very good. Yield, sir, a game you keep coming back to?
Let's see here. So what kept me gaming through the 3 was Warhawk. Rock Band kept me gaming through the 4. Well, end of the 3, into the 4.
I got to ask, did Guitar Hero factor inside, or is it all Rock Band?
Well, it started out as Guitar Hero, but then when they had the split, I went Rock Band because I didn't like where Guitar Hero was going.
Okay.
Even though they were still putting out decent games with set lists, it became more playing a game than it was just pretending I was in a band, quote unquote. And I'm like, I don't want that. The whole boss battle thing, I'm like, while it was fun at first, after a while, I'm like, I don't want this. I just want to play the songs. Right now with the 5, I go back to play Power Wash Sim is the only thing I really play on my 5. I've played a few games on it, but I end up playing on my 4 because there's just not a lot of games on the 5.
I really thought you were going to say Warships.
I play Warships on the 4.
Oh, okay.
I don't play them on. I don't play it on the 5.
Okay. For me, it is and probably will be for a good long time Team Fortress 2. That's where I met a number of my good gaming brothers, and we still play that game to this day. And once they got rid of the bots, it's great to go back to, and that's just kind of the game that keeps us together. So before we go on to the next questions, Tricky, why don't you bring up the next audio?
Hello, everybody. The Bearded Nerd coming at you real quick, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Tricky, Alex, Yield, and my good friend, Matt. Congratulations on episode 600. I wish you the best and many, many more.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Mark says in the chat, must be able to do solo Rock Band now with VR instead of plastic instruments.
That'll never be as precise as you need it to be.
No.
All right. Next question. Daryl writes in again. If you were in charge of the next big idea for South Park, what would be, and has anybody watched the Pandaverse?
I would kill South Park because it's such a shitty show.
Wow.
Blasphemous.
Sorry, I'm spitting facts over here.
Yeah. Fake news. Jeff.
I don't know, because the magic of South Park is the political knowledge and incisiveness of the people that write it, and the ability to be current to within days of the air date of the show and make it work. There's a special magic that makes that show do what it does that I don't think an average person could say, if I took it over, I would do this, because it wouldn't, it's not the same thing at that point.
Rick in the chat says, Tricky once again proves he has no taste, and then Kanos agrees.
Sorry, Alex, I'm going to jump in before we go to you. I think to that point, Jeff, is a lot of the later seasons is what that became, is that it became very topical and timely, which made them genuine in the moment. I will still always argue that some of their older episodes are more timeless because they weren't pandering to a specific audience or commentary.
Oh, but the episode of the 2000 election between Gore and Bush, and they've got the little kids voting for class president, and
Absolutely.
Flora can't decide. I mean, that came out 3 days after the whole incident. Like, you can't say that the later shows are the one that they've been doing the immediacy of the political insightfulness. That's been a quarter century at this point with them.
Agreed. I just think that there's some older episodes that are going to always be timeless. And I think in 30 years, when you've got kids watching that episode, they're going to be like, I don't get it. Well, there's this thing back then, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Ghost Pirates with Korn is always going to be funny.
Yes.
And Rick in the chat says the Black Friday special is the best thing ever. And then Nitro says Plain Wings tells us all we need to know about.
Oh, Jesus Christ. See, MZ said it before I said anything this episode. Just making that a note.
There's nothing wrong with Plain Wings.
Alex.
There's everything wrong with
yes,
plain
there
wings.
is. They don't have any seasoning on them.
They have seasoning.
Herbs and spices, according to
It's not
Tricky.
Chicken skin is not a seasoning.
Alex, South Park, your thoughts?
It's like the Lost Boys. You got to imagine the flavor on those wings.
It's not going to stop. Just
So hold on, Matt. Can you repeat the question for me, sir? Apologize.
Thank you,
Darryl wants to
Nitro.
know, if you were in charge of the next big idea for South Park, what would it be?
Ugh. See, I don't know. I used to be really big into South Park, and I stopped watching it, not because like I disliked the show or didn't find it funny. I've done it with everything. I used to like Family Guy, another example. I just stopped watching because I don't really watch a ton of TV these days. And it's just kind of like gone down as I've gotten older. So I don't know, like it's hard to pick out something when you I don't know. They just revived the Casa Bonita. Like the creators actually bought and rejuvenated the Casa Bonita restaurant in Denver. And like they took away tips, and they actually pay their servers or like the staff there. Like I can't remember how much they pay them, but basically there's no need for tips. They're not living on minimum wage anymore. I guess another episode on Casa Bonita, because they've done one before where they went for Cartman's birthday, but some kind of, episode sequel at Casa Bonita, and then like a commentary on like how servers in the food industry are paid, something like that, and how people are treated. I don't know. I feel like they could do a pretty good commentary on that if they haven't already done it.
Okay. Yield, sir?
I like it the way it is. I don't know if I could come up with a better or a new idea that would improve on what they do.
The only thing I would add is if they did something related to Fortnite, akin to what they did with the World of Warcraft, because it'd be interesting to see what their take is on that now.
Isn't that the one where the guy was shitting in a bucket at the computer?
Cartman, yes. For those looking for that episode, it's Make Love Not Warcraft. I believe in season 8.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the best episodes they've ever done. And with the Fortnite thing, they could sit there, be begging their parents for $40 for a Fortnite skin or however much it is.
Yeah, no, kids. They could do an entire episode of kids trying to get more money out of their allowance for V-Bucks.
I'd be interested to see if they're not being incisive against Fortnite, because eventually they want the characters in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there could be a chilling effect from Epic about whether or not you get to talk negatively about Fortnite and then be able to strike the marketing deal with them.
So next question is, Daryl asks, how long before Bobby Kodiak, not Kotick, Kodiak evidently, becomes the head of Xbox Studios? Daryl, that is a pipe dream. You keep going down that road, and that's been a road closed sign for a long time.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either.
It's Daryl being a troll. That's what he does, because he knows how much we all love Bobby Kotick, and P.S. fuck Bobby Kotick.
So the day that we see the story that Phil Spencer mysteriously fell down a well or something like that, definitely having nothing to do with Bobby Kotick, that would be the only day that potentially Bobby Kotick would move closer. But I'm sure he's like 30th in line to the crown. So it's like Phil Spencer and a lot of his lieutenants, and then like Bobby Kotick way down there. I don't know. I think obviously all the negativity that came, all the terrible news and the lawsuits and everything that came out about Activision, I think Microsoft is way too smart to ever let Bobby Kotick anywhere near the top of their games division.
Oh yeah.
Although he would probably make a lot of money for him, it's a nightmare, a PR nightmare waiting to happen if they ever did that. So.
Yeah, but I mean that's like nickel and dime and Jim Ryan type of money that they don't need right now. They need to improve their public image. So goodbye, Bobby.
Yeah, I'd say John Riccatello has a better chance of heading up Microsoft Game Studios than Bobby Kotick.
Goddess has entered the chat and says, happy 600th episode, Tricky, Alex, Yield, and Sid. Also Matt, because she doesn't realize you're on the show yet.
She doesn't know me.
I wouldn't doubt the way those types of things are structured, that there's some minimum amount of time that he has to stick around. And at that point, there's some golden parachute, and he'll be gone. And he'll probably be done with the whole thing at that point because he's getting up to retirement age anyways, and he's got his millions. He's made his sale. Microsoft's going to give him a gigantic bag of cash. He stays around for a few months to help with the transition and make things look smooth. And then he'll just, if he's smart, he'll just fade away.
Is it? Didn't they announce already when he was leaving?
Yeah, end of December.
They completely shied away from saying anything about what they would do with him before the sale would, like for the 2 years the sale was stretching on, and by law I think they couldn't say what they would do because he wasn't their employee. I don't know if they've announced a departure date now that the sale's been finalized.
After it was finalized, they did say he was staying through to the end of December, but they've never finalized an actual date.
The goddess says, "Hi, Matt."
Hi, goddess. Tricky, you want to...
hold on. Real quick, I do want to say that I don't really think they're keeping him around for, purposes of helping with transition. I think they just want to keep him on as, for the Microsoft version, the rendition of A Christmas Carol, where he plays Scrooge, and instead of learning a lesson, he just sucks the soul out of all the ghosts. And he
wow.
Ends the movie the same way he
right
is.
There.
All right, Tricky, you want to cue up the next audio, please?
Congrats on episode 600.
That was just Zach Trey Thomas. That's it.
Good audio. Do you want to do another one since that one was
short and sweet?
Short and sweet.
Greetings, this is Alexander, aka Caneless. I just want to wish congratulations to the Trophy Whores on 600 episodes. Hopefully you guys manage another 600. Yes, I'm telling them. That's my daughter in the background. Anyway, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Cute kid, Caneless. All right. Final two community questions. And then after this, we will move on to the Sophie trophies. So, Daryl also asks, has anyone played Teardown on PS5? In his opinion, this is a pretty fun game so far.
The name is registering, but I have to look it up because I forgot.
It was a PlayStation Plus game this past month.
That's the voxel puzzle destruction game?
A great question. If I played it, I'd be able to answer you.
It's the synopsis says, Teardown features a fully destructible and truly interactive environment where player freedom and emergent gameplay are the driving mechanics. Tear down walls with explosives or vehicles to create shortcuts no one thought was possible.
Yeah.
Man, they're getting really good with these buzzwords.
Well, Red Faction did years ago, right?
Yes. That's fine. No, it's all voxel based, and it's not open world. It's like level puzzle based. I played it. I played the Steam version for a while. It's a good game. It's fun. It's one of those where you are on your own to figure out how to get to the objective, and the emergent gameplay with destruction is always fun.
Oh man, I'm way too stupid to play that game. Man, not even Tricky has a shot to throw at me. I do life, Tricky.
Because I don't pick on you guys the way you guys pick on me.
Oh, don't give us that.
Kayla says, damn, I miss Red Faction.
Everybody, yes.
Everybody does. That game was absolutely, it was great. Destroying something, knocking down the base, and then all you have left is like a little slither of the base, and yet it's still standing. And then you walk away, and then all of a sudden it falls down moments later.
Jeremy says his kids are loving Teardown.
There's a very healthy games discussion Slack channel at NVIDIA, and one day somebody was talking about Red Faction Guerrilla, and suddenly Eric Arnold, who worked on the physics system for Red Faction, he's replying, and I'm replying, and then Dave Baranek, who did like all of the open world streaming, he's like, and there's about 8 to 10 of us that worked on Red Faction that are at NVIDIA, and all the other people from around the world are like, whoa, we didn't know we had the Red Faction developers here.
It was the very first Red Faction I played. My buddy, actually, I kept bringing my PS2 over to my cousin's house so we could play PvP. And the most fun I had was using that sniper railgun that could see heat vision and then as I'm tracking him, I'd use a rocket launcher to blow the ground out from underneath him, drop him down to my level, and hit him. That was some genuine fun that just is not around these days.
All right.
The fact that the players would destroy the objective, their own objective, put one of their team members in there with that gun, and then rebuild the objective around them, and then they would just sit in that and snipe the enemies.
Rick says Earthworm Jim did that
Tricky,
first.
We're talking Red Faction for the next 2 hours.
I'm sorry. Also, I didn't set it up on this scene, so it didn't play it. But Nitro played the sound for 1,000 channel points, so I have to play it now.
Good point spent.
There's your wrestling talk there, Daryl. Hey, real quick, Jeff keeps mentioning NVIDIA because obviously he works there, but I do want to give a shout out to Jeff and NVIDIA because every time the graphics for Metal Hellsinger was the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050. So every time I load that game up, I thought of Jeff. I'm like, NVIDIA, go Jeff.
I don't even work in that division.
And somebody asked me one time, Jeff, they says, now that you know Jeff and he works in NVIDIA, can he hook you up with a 40 series graphics card? I was like, no. Apparently everybody thinks I have to hook up since I know you now.
Nothing I'm going to say on an open podcast about that.
Yield, did you say whether or not you played Teardown?
No, I have not.
Me either. So next question. Daryl, final question is, Daryl asked, when is the next trophy war?
Whenever you decide to put on your big girl panties and sack up, buddy.
Oh, stop.
If you all start now and turn your PlayStations on, you might be able to get it after the system update next week.
Whenever we decide to actually have legitimate rules instead of it just turning into a Telltale war.
The last war was
no, it wasn't.
It was structured nicely.
It was. You have yet to have a structured war.
The last war we did, which was.
Well, I wasn't in it.
No, because you. We did it. The way we structured it, the last one was you had to have the most trophies, the most plats, and it was the rarest trophy. And the team that got the most out of all three of those got a point, and then whoever got the most points won the platinum trophy. And we swept all three categories.
That contest was bullshit. I was on the winning team and it was bullshit.
You weren't on that one. Oh yeah, you were on that one. No,
yes,
that was
me, you, Yield, Lucia, and Donnie.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was our team.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the first one.
That was the first war. I apologize. The second one was. What did we do for the second one?
I don't know, but Yield wasn't involved, and neither was I.
I think we just did the most trophies. Trophies and most
I wasn't
plats.
involved in the second one because the first one turned into a Telltale war.
I'm sorry, like competitions where like you have to spend an inordinate amount of time playing video games to get the most trophies and feel that pressure. I don't want it. No thanks.
Somebody's bugging me for dinner. I got to step away for about 2 minutes.
Okay. Skull says
we take good care of our good boys and girls.
Skull in the chat says, so long story short, he's an Xbox user. I told you 20 years ago, to get off that train, but you didn't listen to me. He says he's jelly on all the PlayStation exclusives, God of War and Spider-Man. And I'm supposing that the 3 dots that I think he's cursing, because it got him last time, is Destiny. But Destiny's not exclusive, so I don't think it's Destiny.
I'm trying to figure out who MZ is trying to voice ban in real life.
Is he trying to voice ban somebody?
He just redeemed 30,000 bits for IRL voice ban.
Okay, I don't see that on my chat.
Look at that. Nitro's making saves in Rocket League and in the chat.
Nitro, who do you want to mute? And we'll just make sure they don't talk for, 5 minutes. Oh, he's trying to mute me.
Well, tricky.
Well, be easy. Well, he said he said actually proven gamer. So.
All right. So with that said, actually, this is a perfect time. Let's move on to Sophie's trophies.
All right. Well, good, because now I can't talk for 5 minutes, but Sid's gonna talk for 10.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sid, and I'm back again with another Sophie's Trophies. And this one, guys, is rather a special one. Not only is it episode 600, which is an astronomical number, so congrats guys. It is also RoboCop Rogue City, which is my favourite game of this year. Not just game of the year, but favourite game I've played this year, if you know what I mean. So I've played a lot of older games as well. And it's just come out on top of everything. It's not perfect, and some of the voice acting does leave a lot to be desired, but play-wise and graphics-wise, it looks very nice, plays nice. Peter Weller is back as RoboCop, so that is always a plus. All the other characters are voiced by sound-alikes. Some of them are okay, some of them aren't that good. The bad guys, their voice acting is really hit and miss. So, the game itself is a first-person shooter with light RPG elements. And the platinums, we have platinums? Trophies, guys. Trophies, not platinums. There aren't 28 platinums. There are indeed 28 trophies. So, we have to serve and protect. Acquire all the trophies. No stone unturned. And this one is find a secret area in the arcade. So, in the second level of the game, it is downtown Detroit. You can wander around a smallish hub area. It's not massive. There are a few things to do there. That's where most of these trophies will come from. And this one is find the secret area in the arcade. So when you go into the arcade building, once you're in the office, use your RoboVision, and that will highlight a button on the side of the desk. Press that button and you will get this trophy. And then we have zip this up. Shoot an enemy in a sensitive spot. So basically shoot an enemy in the bollocks. Good Eyes Murphy. Find a PCP for Auto 9 in a secret area of the steel mill. And that is exactly the way it's spelt and written out, guys. So the PCB, printed circuit board for your Auto 9, which is your main weapon. There are loads of these to find, guys. There are about 4 or 5. And each one has a set upgrade path that you fill with nodes. And in the steel mill there is a big train, big yellow train. You press a button on the train and it will go forward for a certain amount of time. Once it stops, climb up to the top of the train and it will lead you to a little secret area. Then we have live by the bike. Shoot the gas tank of a moving motorcycle. Plenty of places to do this one, guys. There are loads of motorbikers about, so just make sure you hit the gas tank and you'll get that one. Then we have Strikeout. Eliminate an enemy using a throwable object. So yeah, throw something at an enemy. Dead On. Score 150 points at the shooting range. This guy is really good. Score 200 points at the shooting range. Then we have Super Cop. Score 250 points at the shooting range. So a tip for this one, guys, is if you set your FOV a bit wider so you can see more of the targets coming at you, and also find the PCP board that gives you infinite bullets, or you've got infinite bullets anyway on your Auto 9, but there is a PCB board that will allow you to not have to reload. So effectively infinite bullets with no reload. Once you find that one, this trophy becomes pretty trivial. Then we have a real hero. Save a cat from a burning hotel. So when you're going through a burning hotel later on in the game, you will hear the cat meowing from a cupboard. Open the cupboard, the cat will be free. Score A on any evaluation, which is Officer of the Month. After each main mission, you will get graded as to how well you did, how many side quests you did, how many evidence things you picked up. They're all put into a score. I think you need a score of 2,500 to score an A on evaluation. Eliminate 3 enemies with 1 explosive, and this one is called Nukem. So self-explanatory again. Just shoot something, make it blow up and kill 3 enemies. Uphold the law. Issue a ticket. So this could be for somebody drinking in public or somebody parking in a silly place, things like that, and you have the opportunity to issue a ticket. If you let somebody off with something, you are serving the public trust because you're being nice to people. If you issue a ticket, you're upholding the law. You only have to do it once. Okay, we have maybe used against you. Hack an enemy turret. Again, later on in the game there will be turrets. Just find the control box for them and hold square to hack them. Okay, there can be only one. Or there can only be one. All old factory hostiles neutralized in under 10 minutes. This one, guys, this caused me the most problems. Because I was trying to shoot them all. I went back with an upgraded gun and everything like that. And it's hard because you've got to shoot 5 waves of robots. And I figured out the best way to do it, guys, is just run up to them and punch them. That kills them in one hit, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So that is my tip for that one. When you get to level 10, I think it is, in the factory, and you have these waves of robots, walk up to each and every one of them and just punch them. So, all adds up. Equip Auto 9's PCP with any chip. I said PCP then, guys. Didn't mean that. PCB with any chip. So the chips are what I was talking about before, the little node things. And then we have find an OCP skill disc. These are upgrades or skill points. Every 1,000 points makes a skill point, and you get those from doing finding evidence and what have you. So an OCP skill disc gives you an automatic skill point. Fully develop any skill. There are 10 nodes in each skill. There are about 6 or 7 skills. Concentrate on whichever one you want, guys. It's up to you. But yeah, just fill one up and you will get that trophy. Hard boiled. Help officers Kurtz and O'Neill solve a murder case. So this can be done the first time you reach downtown Detroit. So do that. Go find them. They are in the corner of the map. The northeast corner, I think it is. Talk to those two and they will send you on a little errand to solve a murder case. Night has just begun. Complete breaking news quest. So this is your first mission. So it's kind of an introduction to the game and things. So complete that one, guys, and you will be there. And Dead or Alive. Complete Soot's final encore quest. So Soot has a rather irritating voice. He is really annoying when he's talking. But, you know, once you're taken down, he will shut up. And then we have 20 seconds to comply. Complete Street Vulture's Turf quest. So at the end of this one, guys, you have to fight an Ed 209. Which probably is the downside of the game for me, really, because the fights with him aren't that great, to be honest. There is 3 or 4 fights with an Ed 209. They're not amazing, I have to say. Don't mess with the money. Complete the bank heist quest. Then book him. Complete Ghosts from the Past quest. Then we have Let's Talk. Complete Wendell's Confession quest. And then Cashing Out. Complete the Man Himself quest. And then Not Arresting You Anymore. Complete No Way Out quest. And then Nice Shooting Son. Complete the game on any difficulty level. Now, I didn't want to tell you too much about the quests themselves because there are certain story beats in there that you won't know if you've not played it yet. But that, guys, is RoboCop Rogue City. Well worth playing apart from some dodgy voice acting. And once again, guys, congratulations on 600. I will talk to you soon, and everybody take care. Bye.
All right, so let me catch up on the chat before you go, Matt. Nitro, I think, said, Nitro said V is now with the boss. Rick said that Mutant Me was all part of shenanigans. And then I proved to Nitro that the hidden word worked, and now he's saying that I should give him the prize, but I'm not. And that's it. Matt, you're on.
That sounds pretty petty.
No, because he said it's either a scam or a spam, and I changed the word real quick to show Nitro it worked. It worked, and now I reset the word.
I'm just saying, in my entire time of listening to, this podcast or watching this podcast on Twitch, I've never seen anybody win the secret word.
Nobody's gotten it in 4 years. And it's a pretty common word, too.
It's the same word this entire time?
The entire time. Nobody's ever gotten it.
And how do you find this word?
All you need to do is just type in the chat, and if you type this word in any way, shape, or form, you win $200 in PSN credit.
Jeff, this is work for your AI division.
I'm assuming that the word is system update.
Maybe somebody should try typing that into the chat.
So wait, people just have to type random words in the chat, or just random words associated with the show?
Much like Rick is doing right now.
And hope they land on it?
Actually, related story, although I haven't run it in a while. You used to get Microsoft points for doing Bing searches, and then you would get bonus Microsoft points for using Edge and do Bing searches. And someone who may be the most respected guest on your show maybe downloaded the entire Oxford English Dictionary as a text file and then had a Python script that would just execute searches randomly to run the Microsoft point number up as far as you could get, and was very upset with the news this week that they've taken the Edge bonuses off of that. That's hypothetically, though.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, what would the score of this person or amount of this person would have gotten?
He stopped doing it a while ago in this fictional story, but he's up there in like double-digit thousands without a problem.
So basically, this person never had to pay for Excel ever again?
Well, he's never actually used the points because he kind of forgot about them.
I will say this.
It's a real Greek tragedy type of story.
I will say this. Microsoft kept that project alive a lot longer than Google kept Stadia alive. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
MZ is asking for a ruling, an overruling on the thing. I'm not going to say you deserve $200, MZ. I will say that maybe you deserve a little something for actually getting the thing to work by Tricky helping you out there. So
maybe I'll throw him a $20 PSN card.
I think that, especially
maybe
for
I'll redirect this non-existent Bing search script to start throwing random words into the Twitch chat.
But
goodness.
The words that Rick is coming up with and Nitro is coming up with. Nitro says the Division 2 is fake. Rick saying hockey. Nitro saying Rangers. Rick saying New York. Islanders, Devils, Mayo. These are all names that are coming up.
So wait, hold on. It's a word, not a phrase, right?
It's a word. It's a common word that if you were in a Twitch chat and just talking to the streamer, if you type this word in any way, shape, or form, it would pop up. It would trigger.
Yeah, but I don't think you
subscribe.
understand how many words that encompasses.
Subscribe.
Okay.
Follow.
This is the the only clue I will ever give publicly.
Don't they also do something else?
If I was streaming and you came into the chat and you were just having a normal conversation with me, this is a word that you would have typed at some point, but surprisingly, I may have just chose the wrong word, but this is a very common word that somebody in the Twitch chat would say to the streamer.
Watch the word be misspelled. That's why nobody can get it.
You know what? Now you got me paranoid that she's misspelled it.
That's why our hypothetical friend has the dictionary downloaded so that you can double check the word spelling.
A nerd named Mark says, "Watch it be howdy."
Oh my goodness! All
right, go back to the question. Oh wait. Matt, I gotta cut you off for 1 second because there was actually a question I posted, or asked for questions in the Trophy Horrors Facebook 600 chat. Nitro, not Nitro. What? Caneless says, "How does it feel to have 600 episodes of pure amazingness to be around Tricky?" And this was posted in the thing. Jeff can confirm that it was not come from me.
I confirm nothing.
Thanks, Jeff. Throw me under the bus.
You're welcome. Well, you pitched me the softball. I'm gonna hit it.
You know, I'm gonna be real honest here. I'm gonna tug at the heartstrings here. It feels like I listened to a lot of bullshit over the years. That's how it feels.
How was that tugging on the heartstrings?
I was joking about that.
Yield, your answer?
What was the question? I thought you were just talking.
Caneless wants to know, how does it feel to be around 600 episodes of awesomeness? That is me.
That's how Yield feels. It's so traumatic he has to block it out by not listening.
600 episodes of awesome. That is you. It ended at episode 1.
You weren't on episode 1.
That's when it ended.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
The spirit of Trophy Horse died when Donnie left.
Oh.
I think that was episode 101.
Is that long ago? Donnie left that long ago?
I would have to research, but he was early on. Maybe 100, 150, somewhere around there.
Honestly, if you asked me if it felt like I've done 600 episodes of a podcast, I would tell you no. But then again, we can say that about every aspect of our life, where it's like, man, I last saw you 20 years ago. It feels like yesterday.
Just for context, that's 12 years.
Honestly, doesn't feel like it.
12 years of Trophy Horse.
Oh.
All right, so it's over 12 years because we've missed weeks here and there, but it's 12 years worth of episodes.
When does the pension plan kick in?
A year 20.
When you guess the secret word.
When you
Your pension is a $200 PSN card.
Just so you know, there's a race in the chat right now to get the word. There's a lot of guesses going on right now.
Is it a word that would be common in any Twitch chat or a Twitch chat with you?
Any Twitch chat.
Because I would go straight to bullshit if it was with you.
Somebody typed in bullshit. That was not the word.
All right. Well, moving on.
Mark says it's a greeting. Rick says, "Oh, you died." Mark says, "Oh, you like salutations, etc."
Damn.
You know what's funny, and I'll just put it out there. One of you physically said the word in the last 10 minutes.
Well, then good. Give me my $200 PSN card.
You gotta type it in the Twitch chat.
Well, I'm not in the Twitch chat, so someone type it in there. We'll split it $100 a piece.
Someone start with bullshit.
The best is I'm gonna go in there and win the $250 PSN card, and I'll just put it on a shelf. Can I trade this for an Xbox card?
Mark says Yield gets the PSN card.
See?
And now Rick says I'm off to watch the video on demand.
All right, just chat to text everything there, and it's just going to stream it.
All right, Matt, back to the questions. Actually, now these are your questions, correct?
These are my questions. So what I decided to do was I'm going to come in here and ask you all questions as a previous watcher, now host, to see how you feel, how you've done over the past 600 episodes, or however many ever episodes you've been on or watched or listened or whatever. So if this gets sentimental, I'm sorry.
I'm crying already.
First, yeah, I know I was crying when you left yesterday.
I know you missed me with every bullet you shot.
Let's not talk about your computer.
There's nothing wrong with RGB.
There's everything wrong with RGB.
There's everything wrong. Is this the same one that was leaking 3 years ago?
Yes, and then I brought it over to Matt's house last night because the one fan stopped working, and we replaced 2 of the 3 fans because you couldn't get to the 3rd fan because of the water cooling. And now the RGB on the rest of the system, except for one fan he put in, the RGB is not working. Out of the new fans, the RGB on one of the new fans is working, but the rest of the RGB is gone.
Jeff.
And you can't take it back to the place that built it because they went out of business.
No, I put it at Micro Center, but they would probably charge me $250 to fix it.
Pins were all bent because the RGB connectors, when they originally built it, they melted plastic over the top of it to keep them in place because, RGB headers don't actually stick or click into place.
Oh, so they hot snotted it with a glue gun?
Yes.
Oh, God. Ugh.
It was a mess, and I began my education of Tricky on why water cooling is not a thing to do anymore unless you were doing overclocking or severe heavy.
Or you buy an AIO and you just call it done.
Even then, I was like, my air cooling fan does a better job than my AIOs ever did. So anyway, Tricky and I are already planning out what his next computer will be that will not include water cooling, so I can actually work. I showed him my case, and his eyes bugged out of his head.
Which is about 4 feet tall, by the way.
Well, Tricky, I don't recommend this to anybody, but it's honestly, I think you're the use case. Just get a Mac.
No, absolutely not. I'm not buying anything Apple in this house. I'm ashamed to say I owned an iPod, but I only own an iPod so I can download the show.
All right, so on to my questions, and we will start with our guest and work around the table like I've been doing already.
All right.
Jeff, do you have a favorite Trophy Whores moment?
No.
Fair enough.
There's too many to remember.
I do. It was when Tricky reached out and I got invited to be on the first show. I was very honored by that, and that was that also introduced the long-running joke of the Thin Mint cookies.
Can I tell a side story to that?
No.
I was okay.
Why
Wait a second,
why
whose
ask
podcast is
questions?
this?
Don't give me the option.
I remember reaching out to Jeff the first time.
He said no.
Shut up. I reached out to Jeff the first time, and I was
Shit, somebody try Thin Mints in Twitch chat.
Rick actually just wrote in the chat, Jeff, do you have a Trophy Whores moment? But he spelt moment wrong with an N at the beginning. No, the first time I ever reached out to Jeff to come on the show, I was absolutely nervous that he was like, who the fuck are you and why you contacted me?
I'm still like that 12 years later.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, like, I said this on previous shows with Jeff. When Jeff comes on the show, like, he speaks so eloquently. I can't say that word. But I'm actually sitting here sometimes, like, totally, like, I've gotten stupider because of how smart Jeff is. I'm like, I don't
think that's true.
I don't even have the knowledge base to fully understand everything he says. But then I go back and listen to the episodes. I'm like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about. Then I start doing research. But the first time I ever reached out to Jeff to come on the show, I was a nervous wreck that he was gonna say no.
That's the worst you could do is say no, and you go about your day.
Yeah, going back, just making sure we capture a nerd named Mark came in and said, "Hey, congrats on 600. How everyone's feeling doing? We're doing good. We're just and we just went to commercial, so I'm pretty sure you won't hear this." Anyways,
can you guys still hear us? Because it might just be a commercial break for you.
What are we hawking? Are we hawking PCB way today?
I'm fairly certain that most of these people are not subscribed, and therefore they're watching a Subaru commercial at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Kayla says I turned Jeff into a hot chick.
Tricky, do you have a favorite Trophy Whores moment?
Yes, and I think it's probably gonna be shared by Alex and Yield at the same time. My absolute favorite was bringing Sid on the show after we got his email. That completely changed my thought process of what we were doing as a podcast. I never thought that our voices in any way, shape, or form could be a comfort to somebody in such a time like that, that I always look back to that moment. I actually have his email printed out and framed and put on my wall to remind me to stay humble every day. I hate to say it like this, but it's easy to get an ego when you see the numbers that of people that download the show and how many people reach out and how many people look forward to you. And then you get messages like from Kanelis that says, you know, oh, the awesomeness that is Tricky. Like, there's people, and I'm saying this humbly, please understand. There's people that look up to us as podcasters and our voices and whatnot, and that's truly humbling. But
Lord of mercy.
when you get an email like that from Sid, and actually, I'm going to read another email coming up soon, that it really changes what we do as a podcast, and that's part of the reason why I've always wanted to do the show. I mean, there's times I've didn't want to sit down and record just because I was tired or like there was no topics. But knowing that our voices could be that helpful to somebody has always kept me going. So that will always be, no matter what happens in the future of the show, that will always be my favorite moment on the show is bringing Sid on the first time with him and Mandy to announce that we were dedicating a new segment from Trophies and Tips into Sophie's Trophies. And I'm honored every time Sid sends it in audio to keep honoring Sophie like that.
Alex, do you have a favorite Trophy Wars?
How do I follow that? Jesus. No, I think I'm going to do a then and now because for most of these, I've always said the Donnie thing where he admitted that he ate dog food, like cooked it on the stove.
There's video proof of that.
A hilarious moment for me. But I think also Jeff was on that episode too. So I wanted to mention for that fact that Jeff has been on the show, been coming on the show for that long. But for me, like the real, I guess an updated moment for me would have to be when we crossed a certain threshold for downloads. It was what, 1 million downloads, Tricky, or something like that. We've
gotten over. We've gotten over. Now I'm thinking it's 100 million, but I think it was actually 10 million downloads we've gotten.
Yeah, and just seeing like our numbers reach that amount, and yeah, I mean it's over 12 years, but the fact that we could ever get to that number was really awesome, and it just reminds you of the community that we've built. It's not just like the hey, we're so tough or we're so cool, this many downloads. It's just like more so that we have built a community that has allowed us to get to that point, and that many people have continued to support us. Is a really special feeling. So that's mine.
Dark Knight says, I miss Donnie. And Kayla says, all of you should be proud of the road so far. And Rick says he needs to meet Sid and Dupes for a pint sometime. Sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Yield, you are next on the block.
I would have to say the community that we built because, especially when we started the Facebook group, it was kind of just us, it felt like. And then now we've got a really good community of people that are chiming in with either gaming related or movie related stuff. And it's a nice little group. It feels in a way like the sarcastic gamer forums when we, a lot of us used to frequent those is kind of how I feel the Facebook group is now. Not anywhere near as big, but still, it's not us just chit-chatting amongst ourselves.
Hannibal says in the chat, congratulations, guys, on 600 as a new listener. I appreciate everything you guys do. I do have another moment, which is ironic because Jeff's here as well. Jeff, you may or may not remember this, but there was an episode, it was years ago. We were getting ready to record, and we had literally just started all our audios and going into the countdown, and you hear Jeff go, was that a gunshot? And Donnie goes, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to close my window.
I do remember that.
Hard knock life up there in Detroit. Freaks come out at night.
Good times, Jeff.
That is not just the team that's on here now, but all the other people that we've brought on. Yes, including Redbeard Rick and all the other guests that we've had on, and making friends outside of this small group and expanding the realms of where we know people from. So definitely all the guests that you guys have had on over the years. You mentioned earlier, Tricky, an email. Do you want to go ahead and read that, or have an audio you want to queue up?
Let me do the email. I just got to bring it up real quick because trying to do things on my phone. This actually comes from, he's in the chat right now, from Nitro. Says, I don't think you guys got a copy of this, so I'm reading this live to you guys. Hello, everyone. It's been a blast finding this wonderful podcast. It's been quite a journey these last 3 years listening to you all and becoming a part of your great community. I've been thankful to have found a family and friends with you all. I started listening at a time when I lost someone really close to me, his mom, and this group unknowingly helped me get through it all and grow. Thank you for all that. I can't believe it's been nearly 250 episodes since joining. So many great memories that have been made and shared since then. Small shout out to all the amazing guests you've had a part of each episode. Thanks to people like Daryl, CJ, Gareth, Rick, and numerous others for recommending your group/show to me. I'm looking forward to many more wonderful episodes. Thank you, Tricky, Alex, Yield, Matt, Veronica, and the others for making this a welcoming podcast and community. Happy 600.
Nitro, I've only got one thing to say to you. Well, two things. One, thank you, and also remember that you're much better at multiplayer games than your brother is.
I've played with his brother. Yeah.
Wait, what did you play with his brother?
Red Dead 2.
Okay. For some reason, I thought his brother was big in Fortnite.
He is.
Well, Nitro also plays Fortnite, but
yeah. Nitro, I will just say, I did not know that you lost your mother prior to listening to the show, and it means a lot to me, and I'm sure to the guys that we helped you get through that. So I thank you for being around, even though you trolled me a lot. I do appreciate you being around.
I appreciate the trolls.
Rick says, excuse me, I feel bad for not sending an audio now. I just didn't want to talk. You guys are awesome and love the show. My top 3rd listened to podcast on Spotify this year. That's right. We were Nitro's first, by the way. Would be higher, but I binged 2 shows. Roboto Love says, congrats on 600, gentlemen. And Rick says, I've only played online once with Nitro, and you trolled the shit out of me. Good times.
He's an equal opportunity troller, I'll say that much.
He is. You lob it in there, he's hitting it out of the park.
Well, it also comes out of nowhere, because you don't expect it, and then Nitro pipes up with something. It's like, what the fuck? Did a bee just sting me?
That's what makes it so good. He just waits.
The Dark Knight says, y'all, the Blue Show and the Brown Show was great. I wasn't too much of a fan of the Brown Show, but the Blue Show was great.
I like the Blue Show.
I was actually on the Blue Show.
So was I.
I mean, not permanently, but I was on as a guest host once.
So was I. That's actually
well, then I'm not as proud of that anymore.
I will say...
Thanks, Tricky. You just ruined his memory for him.
I will say that we've had Frols on the show. We've had Pac-Man on the show. I've been trying for years to get Rothbot to come on the show, but he does not podcast anymore. So I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I am trying to get Rothbot on the show.
I didn't know Rothbart super well. I worked with him on Sarcastic Gamer, but he's kind of one of those guys that I could see just like disappearing from the internet and never coming back. Just like doing his own thing off the grid somewhere.
Rick says, get MZ on. I think we've had Nitro on the show, have we not?
He has been.
Yeah,
on,
he's
at
been
least
on
one
at least
episode.
once.
And then Nitro says, thank you, Tricky. It's not something I talk about openly. No, I understand, dude. I just want to, openly, publicly say, like, I greatly appreciate you sharing that with us. That's not something easy to talk about. So
if anyone is looking for the episode that Nitro was on, I believe it was in this century of episodes. So it's somewhere between 500 and
this
600.
century of episodes.
And it was called Running on Nitro was the title episode. But I'm pretty sure it's been in the last 100 episodes.
Yeah, I agree with Alex.
I'm trying to get through all the comments of people not trying to guess the hidden word. Yeah, okay, we're good. Matt, you're on the floor.
All right. Next question. And Jeff, you may not have as much to this, but you listen to podcasts, so it's just as valuable to you. Over your time podcasting or listening to podcasts, have you had a role model or somebody in the podcasting world you would either want to emulate or respected?
Not Tricky. Oh, is my mic still on? I'm sorry. No, I don't, actually. I'm not. I listen to gaming podcasts and I listen to true crime. And I appreciate the ones that don't take 45 minutes to get to the true crime story.
Also, I don't know how much you want to emulate a true crime story.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, there are times in life you might have to. So I really view them more as educational.
I got you.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend.
Side eye was like, wait, what?
No, my girlfriend likes a lot of that stuff. I mean, obviously there is a fascination with serial killers and stuff of that nature. I just finished watching maybe about a couple weeks ago, the John Gacy documentary on Peacock. So, I mean, no, I get it. Like, true crime is one of those things that a lot of people like to listen to. I'm sure there's a huge boom in that genre of podcast, even though, like, listening to them can be kind of terrifying because, like, holy shit, people can actually do this.
My answer has got to be Doc. Doc was one of the main reasons why I started Trophy Horrors as a community cast on Sarcastic Gamer. We only lasted 3 episodes on there because apparently we were getting a lot of downloads, and Doc was like, we can't host you anymore. So we had to move on. But
a lot of downloads, man. 10 people downloading a show. I didn't know that would get you kicked off Sarcastic Gamer.
I think at that time we had 100. That was a long time ago. I don't remember. But Doc was like, yeah, just the feed was just, it was running ragged. So, yeah. I'd say Doc, because he gave me the inspiration to do the show. And, you know, here we are 12 years later.
So we have Doc to blame this on. It's all Doc's fault.
I will say I am proud that outside of Matt, and this isn't a shot at Matt, but I'm proud to say that the 3 of us that have been on the show the longest now at this point, all came from Sarcastic Gamer. We all had you know, we lived in that community, and even Jeff was part of Sarcastic Gamer as well. Matt, I don't think you knew about Sarcastic Gamer or were involved in that. Yeah, so.
You missed some good times.
By good times, you mean
good times.
You got to go back and watch the Jack Trenton video that Doc made. That's still a classic to this day.
How about you, Alex? Any podcasters you like to emulate or admire?
Not really. No, I mean, like, I have podcasts that I enjoy listening to, but I mean, no one that I would really emulate. But I mean, honestly, the entire reason that I, got into doing this was because I, joined Sarcastic Gamer and, listened to the Red Show, Dave, Doc, and Lano. And, it's hard not to see what they did and be inspired, just like enjoy listening to podcasts and just like we all have that introductory podcast where it feels like you're talking with old friends, or like there's a conversation going on and you're part of it and you get to, just even if you're not there, like it feels like you're a part of the conversation. And having met Doc in real life and gotten to know him, Doc is great. He's fantastic, such a superb person. So getting to work with him and see, him get Extra Life started and get everything up and running, and just, hear not only like that super important work that he did, but also like the fun stuff, like all the parody videos and stuff like that, being there for the release of those and just listening to the podcast every week. He shows you both sides, the side that can be really fun, but also the power that we have to change things and make things better for other people. So it's hard to say anybody else but Doc for that, especially if you came from the Sarcastic Gamer community.
Ashley in the chat says, I actually stopped listening to true crime because almost every story is, quote, woman gets murdered by angry man, and, quote, rinse and repeat. It gets depressing. She only listens to book podcasts now. As far as Matt being part of Sarcastic Gamer, Rick says, no, Matt's just sarcastic.
Accurate.
He is a sarcastic gamer, though.
And Skull says, every woman loves true crime. His fiance loves all of that. Yeah, we're up to date.
All right. Yield.
I don't know if I emulate anybody. I remember listening to the Blue Show. I remember listening to SG Radio. And when my buddy was doing Game Twerk, I was listening, and I guess in essence, maybe that inspired me when they asked me if I would want to be on as a host. And because listening to that show at that time felt like just a group of guys who were all from different parts of the world, or at least North America. And they were just sitting around talking to them.
Sorry.
And so when I started podcasting, once you get over your initial nervousness, that's kind of how I do it. It's just, this is me, like me or not, this is me. And it's just, I've always tried to do it feels like you're sitting around with us talking video games.
Sorry, Yield. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the
No.
chat. Because Rick said in the chat, I'd like to jump in on Rocket League one night, but I absolutely suck at it. And then Neptune Princess responds by, Alex does too. You'll be fine, Rick.
Well, first of all, if we're going to talk about...
That is tricky. Let me put that out there.
If we're going to talk about somebody sucking at Rocket League, it's definitely not me.
I was actually going to respond by saying, don't worry, Rick. I suck and they let me play. But Ashley jumped in just perfectly. Oh. Ashley's coming back with a response and goes, LOL, first of all, and then we're waiting for the rest.
Alex, I'm going to keep an eye on your camera. If I suddenly see a shadow behind you, I'll give you some sort of heads up.
I'll hear the door open. The door is closed.
Could this be another episode of True Crime? We'll see Alex murdered on live stream.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's got experience listening to all the True Crime podcasts. She could, I think she could take Alex out without anybody finding out.
I was going to say, she could just, there's a big old large window here in our sitting room next to where I'm podcasting right now. She could just push me out of that, but I think it might be a kind of a giveaway and be way too obvious.
I think you just start looking for a red dot somewhere on your forehead.
All right. Next question. Or, actually, Tricky, let's go to, how many more audios do you have?
3.
All right, let's go to the next audio.
Hey dudes, Dex here. Just want to congratulate you guys on a massive 600 episodes. Massive effort. Well done. And thank you for keeping me company through them long shifts.
Thank you, Dex. Rick says, here we go, True Crime live stream.
I didn't sign up for
you
this.
sound fine, Dex.
Dex, you sound fine. I just couldn't fix the audio quick enough.
All right, next up. Do you have any tips for other people out there who want to get into podcasting?
Don't.
Yeah, kind of. Don't. Keep your shows short. Not short, but
shorter than us.
Shorter than us.
We'll move at the 2 hour and 15-minute mark.
Well, this is Tricky's fault.
I'm not leading the show.
I honestly, every time that question has come up, I've always just told everybody, just be you. That means that's right. That's really all you can do is, give advice the way you would give advice to a friend or a coworker, about games, and just go from there. Hopefully you are hosting, if you're doing more than one host, that you're hosting with people that you can get along with. And you don't necessarily always want to host with somebody that agrees with you. You want to have, people that can, I won't say disagree with, or disagree with civilly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah.
Rick wants to know, when's our 24-hour podcast coming?
It's not. Never. Tricky will be there. The rest of us won't.
When they make strong enough coffee for me to want to do that.
Rick says something in the chat that I'm not going to repeat again because I got in trouble with the guy this last time. But basically, Dex didn't say a word because Americans get offended by that. And then Matt says, I love that word in all essences.
What, rubbish?
And then Nitro says, if you're looking to get trolled in Rocket League, just look towards Riley, the aptly named, quote, average geek/gamer. And then Rick says, you could just say, see you next Tuesday.
Nitro's throwing out live rounds in the chat. If I had advice for anyone looking to start a podcast, serious advice, I would say, well, one, always make sure that, you find a group of people who are all equally invested, because if you got people who are only showing up every so often, it definitely drags down everybody else. You want to make sure that everybody's always raring to go. There's some weekends, weeks you may not want to show up, but I think having a group of people that are always as dedicated is a good way to push each other along and help, with longevity. And then just in general, like have a focus, like a main focus. Because I've had people talk to me and be like, oh, they want to start a podcast, but they want to focus on pop culture. They want to focus on movies and comics and music. I'm like, look, if you do all that and you've got one episode here and another episode over there, like you're not going to build an audience. What you're going to have is people coming in every now and again, and they may listen to one episode, but then it's like, oh, well, they're on this aspect. I don't want to listen to that. Us being able to focus on a PlayStation podcast has helped us build a community. IGN has their Nintendo podcast and their Microsoft one and their PlayStation one. So just having a focus and not trying to be all over the place to cover everything really helps, I think, build an audience better than, being here, there, and everywhere. Because you can't cover everything well.
If I have to give any advice, it's just be you. And just remember one thing, that when you do a show like we do on Trophy Wars where we cover the news, nobody's coming to your show to hear the news. They're coming
Says
to...
the guy that insists that we have to include every bit of news.
Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you, Alex.
They both cut me off before I finished my thought. Nobody's coming...
Are you wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. If you let me finish my thought, you'd understand what I'm saying here, sir. Nobody comes to your show to listen to the news. They want to hear your opinion on the news. They can get the news on several different other podcasts, and most namely IGN. But you also got to listen to your audience too, because for a while we were covering the Microsoft acquisition, and then the audience just came back. It's like, dude, stop fucking talking about this already, and we had to listen to them. But it was
Evans.
But when Jim Ryan leaves PlayStation or something like that happens, or a studio gets closed, they got the news somewhere else. They want to know our opinions of it and what we think of it. And you got to stay true to yourself. A podcast is really just a headset, a microphone, and an audio recorder of some sort that you just piece together. It's not hard to do, but as Alex and Yield have already touched on it a little bit, the hardest part is just sticking together with a group of guys that, you love them some days, you hate them some days, but they're your brothers in arms, and, that's what it takes to really podcast. So if you want to start a podcast, just be committed to it, find a good host with you, and just, realize that people aren't coming to you for the news. They want to hear your opinions, and if you're fake, people will see through that, and they will not come back anymore.
Hey, real quick, can I ask Jeff a question? Because you mentioned Jim Ryan.
And go ahead.
And if Jeff can't answer this question, then Jeff just say not answering that question. Okay. Jim Ryan, we got news that he's retiring. Do you think he actually retired, or was he forced to retire?
I don't have any indication that it wasn't anything but genuine.
Okay. All right.
I've not seen any news that would lead me to think that it was them giving him the sort of positive out, but it was a more negative departure. I've not gotten anything to tweak that to me.
Okay.
Kayla says he comes for the banter. Rick says, damn, I really want the secret word. Nitro says, wait, this isn't the IGN podcast? Dex says, I came for the trophies. Rick says, does it count if you type in the chat with not live? I don't know. It's possible.
Nitro, this may not be an IGN podcast, but it's IGN adjacent because we all know Tricky's in the pocket.
And then Rick has a question, but Matt, I'll let you figure out when you want to ask that.
Okay. Why don't you move on to the next audio, though, before I move on to my next, and we'll try to make it final question along with Rick's question.
JT here. Congratulations on all of the hard work up until 600, and may your next 600 be just as fruitful. Alrighty, bye.
The commish. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Thank you, JT, and maybe one of these days I'll get you to show me how to get the Platinum Trophy in Mass Effect 2.
Okay, so we'll move on to Rick's question before I go into my last question. And so Rick's question: what is all of yours favorite game of all time? So, Jeff, do you have a favorite game of all time?
No One Lives Forever. No One Lives Forever 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Tricky.
Favorite game of all time. It's easy for me to say The Division because I played it the most, but it's not my favorite game.
It's got to be The Last of Us.
To me, that's the best game, but I don't know if it's my favorite game.
Do you want me to go? Do you want us to go around the table so you can think for a little bit?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm kind of linking towards.
Yeah, be like that indecisive female at the dinner at the restaurant. Be like, oh, everyone go before me, and I'll make my decision in the menu. Don't just commit, man. Commit.
I'm leaning towards A Link to the Past, but I don't know if I would call that my favorite.
Wow.
Come on, it's episode 600. Don't waffle.
That's the. Can I get the app but have it served with the rest of the entrees? Answer.
Alex.
So the PlayStation 4 version of Shadow of the Colossus, the definitive way to play that game. Yeah, for the longest time it was Ocarina of Time, but the PS4 version of that game kind of moved me and wowed me in ways that no other game has. So that's what I got.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say that there was a PS4 version of Ocarina of Time.
No, but I wish.
It's called
amazing
because Nintendo's taken forever.
Here we are
to
at
get an
hour 18 of the podcast, and Jeff's a little punch drunk.
There is a Wind Waker version called Oceanhorn,
which they've just made a sequel for that.
Yes.
All right. Yield.
So, I have multiple since I've been gaming for so long. Super Mario 3, Ocarina of Time.
Here, Yield. I'm gonna call you out. We gotta pick one. If we're gonna give tricky crap, we gotta pick one.
All right, we gotta pick one. That's Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Val. I'm truly split, but if I'm gonna think of something that brings me back to my childhood and everything else, it's probably gonna be Descent 2.
Yes.
All right, and some comments from the chat. We got Caneless says Mortal Kombat 2. MZ says the original Need for Speed Most Wanted. Rick says Skyrim. Of course you would, Rick. Let's see.
Hey,
Slay the Spire.
Rick says something nice about me. Say that.
Dude, Tricky does have good taste. I only read what is on the screen. I neither confirm nor deny.
I feel like he needs to be more specific.
Rick, I can confirm that is not the secret word.
Dex said no one asked but mine Sleeping Dogs. That is actually an awesome game. And as Rick said, he did ask. He asked for chat and the host. So awesome. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go back to say Link to the Past.
Okay.
I'm going to commit to that.
Isn't that what you already said?
Well, I say I'm leaning towards it, but I wasn't sure. But I'm going to commit to it.
Fair.
And when you bring your salad, can you bring the dressing on the side?
All right, Tricky. What is it? 2 more audios?
One.
Play this audio.
1 or 2? Yeah, I played next. Okay, so it's the last one.
Hey, Tricky, Alex, Yield, Matt, and all the trophy whores out there. It's Tross, and I wanted to say congratulations on reaching 600 episodes. That is an amazing accomplishment. I know it can be hard to get together and record a podcast, let alone 600 times, but you guys are great. Love listening to you guys every week and cannot wait to hear what you have to talk about on this episode and many, many more to come. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Thank you, Tross.
Thank you, Tross, and we hope that you and your family are still doing very well.
All right, final question to round this out. You guys made it to 600 episodes, and through sheer will, determination, or boredom, you made it. But if you weren't going to do a podcast about gaming, what would you do a podcast about? Jeff?
Probably either woodworking or flying.
That's right, because you are a pilot, aren't you?
I'm currently grounded. I'm working on getting that back, though. Yeah.
I forgot you.
Oh, wait. Is there a story behind that you can tell?
That you're grounded?
Yeah.
You have to take a check ride every 2 years, and I intentionally haven't for the past couple of years because I didn't have the time or the money to keep up with it. There's nothing nefarious about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was interested, and my first half hour in Microsoft Flight Simulator said, "Nope, you don't need to do this."
Are you saying you crashed and burned?
I'm saying there was. If I got off the ground, it was a miracle.
Matt, you had to wait that long. Top Gun on the NES told me that. I couldn't land on that aircraft carrier.
On the carrier? God, that was the hardest thing to do.
I will say you can't use them. You can't use them for simulator hours. But the flight school, the flight training in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is very accurate. Like you get a good concept of what real training is like, and they've got all the voice prompts with like the instructor with you in the airplane. It's extremely well done.
All I know is that I got in the air and I'm flying around.
If you failed at that, then it's on you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got in the air and I was starting to I was aiming towards a mountain. It's like, all right, I got to start climbing, otherwise I'm going to collide with this mountain. And as I'm pulling back on my yoke stick or whatever it needs to do, I'm like, this is not going the way I. Ooh, okay, that's my plane in the side of a mountain. Okay, I'm never going to do this live.
You could have just gone left or right.
I gotta ask, what is going on in the Twitch chat about feet? I missed something somewhere.
Yeah, somebody said something about putting feet in your toilet. You should know what that is.
Oh yeah, Tricky. That's the time to wash your feet in the toilet, Tricky.
That might be my favorite Trophy Wars moment.
What? I don't remember this. What happened?
You put your feet in the toilet because apparently you had dead skin on your feet, and you were putting your feet in the toilet.
Why don't I remember this?
Probably because you're so disgusted.
It's a memory I would block too, but I wouldn't have been so dumb as to tell other people I did it.
It was. I vaguely remember it, and yeah, it didn't turn out well for you.
I also remember this because Homer said, "What was this?" Yes, Homer had said that there was some big long discussion, and Homer said he was listening to the show at work, and he had to get up and go to the bathroom because when it got to that part, he was so infuriated that you think that was a logical thing to do.
If somebody knows what episode this was, let me know so I can go back and listen. Because
Get the goddess on here.
It
Ask
was
the
an
goddess.
episode I was on. It's like one of the first episodes I was on.
Ask the goddess. Get the goddess on here. I guarantee she remembers.
All right.
I legit don't remember this, but I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Tricky.
Yes.
If you were to do a podcast other than gaming, what would it be?
Either wrestling or the Rangers.
Wait, no, you can't come off of people complaining that you don't put enough wrestling content into this podcast and then say that you would be capable of doing a wrestling podcast.
Oh, I absolutely
Well said, Jeff.
I absolutely would be able to do a wrestling podcast, but I've heard from numerous people that they do not want wrestling on this podcast. And on top of that, now that we have Matt as a full-time host, it would not be fair to Matt for us to do 20 minutes where he just sits there on camera playing his Steam Deck because we're talking about wrestling.
Okay.
Alex?
I would probably say also a wrestling podcast. There's a time, I grew up on wrestling, and there was a time there where I kind of blocked it out and didn't watch it. More recently, I've gotten back into it. So I think that, if we went that route, I'd still be just podcasting with the same curmudgeons that I do now. So, home is where the heart is. So I guess I'd also have to say a wrestling podcast.
Well, you did a podcast on Netflix shows, did you not?
Yeah, it's called The Floor is Lava.
Yeah,
it was a watch long thing. It was like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing.
That was actually a really good show.
Alex actually left Trophy Horse to go record that, and then when that failed, he came back to us.
No, actually, I went to go record the Gamers Garage and The Floor is Lava, and so we would watch Netflix shows and then comment over the top of it, and then that way the listeners could load up the audio and then watch the show on Netflix and kind of watch along with us.
Rick says, "Put your wrestling on Patreon so I can choose not to listen to it like Star Wars." Dex says,
"Ow,
Dex
Rick, come on."
Rick Dex says, "CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk," and then Rick also says, "Give me my Monty Python though." Yeah, Rick, I gotta watch Monty Python because you said you would sub to the Patreon.
Have you never watched Monty Python?
Oh God, but you're going to become a college sophomore? Please don't.
I've never watched Monty Python.
No, please don't.
Well, the Search for the Holy Grail is classic.
It's not something that like I've avoided. It's just something I've never done.
The one Family Guy where Meg's like, I'm a girl. I don't even like the good Monty Python stuff.
Rick says Star Wars sucks since 2003.
Anyways, Yield, if you weren't doing a gaming podcast, what would you get into?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't podcast at all.
Fair enough. And this is actually something my wife and I have been talking about, is if I wasn't doing gaming, and you might see something coming from us soon, it will be an anime-based podcast.
Yield, I do want to throw something out there at you.
What's that?
Cincinnati Bengals podcast.
I'm not, as much as I love the team, I am not as fluent in all the history and all that, so.
Here's the problem with doing a sports podcast. Because
it's a sports podcast.
I thought about this when I said the Rangers. You could only really do it during the season. The off season, yes, you could talk about trades and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of news that comes out. You could only really talk about, the games as they played. With a football podcast, you could only do it like every really Sunday, which we do now, but that's 18 weeks unless they hit the playoffs.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Tricky. When you're in a market like New York, even some of the Ohio markets, you've got year-round sports. So you could talk about, local sports-based teams. You could do the Rangers, then you could do the Yankees, then you could do the Knicks. There's a lot you could do in a market with multiple sports teams.
Roberto Love says, I would tune into an anime podcast. Kayla says, a Living in New York podcast. And then Matt says, yep, anime, the missus and I will be starting something in the new year. We're looking forward to that, Matt.
And with that, no more questions, no more call-ins, nothing else. I just want to take you all down through a little bit of a podcast memory lane, ask you some of your opinions. But you definitely have hit 600. I appreciate being invited to come along on this journey. I appreciate guests like Jeff, Rick, JT, MZ, Riley, Tross, anybody if I missed, I apologize, but it's definitely good to listen to you. And now sitting in on this, it's been fun to be a part of this, to contribute at certain levels, and hopefully produce some higher quality content that we don't necessarily charge you for, that some folks like Sony would probably make you pay for more. And as a result, you welcome me, a trophyless bastard, into the show, and it's been fun, and I'm hoping I'm there for episode 1200.
Well, Jeff, I don't know if you remember, but episode 1000, we got plans to do Italy.
Oh, right. And that's
Yield says
he's 12 years to get to 600, so that means it's going to take another 8 years to get to 1,000.
Right. And Yield's already said he's not going to Italy.
Yeah, I'm not going to Italy.
I'm going to be 62, God willing. So I don't know. That might be an issue. Well, wait a second. I thought, no, we're not going to Italy till you eat a Chicago-style pizza.
That will never happen.
Right.
Because there's no such thing as a Chicago-style pizza.
Those flaccid pizzas.
No, there's no such thing as a Chicago-style pizza. It's not a pizza. It's a casserole.
It's not a casserole.
It's a casserole.
There's no tuna in it or noodles. It's not a casserole.
Matt, as a New York Jace, this is going to backfire on me. I can just see the face already. I will not finish this question.
For those in chat, I am vehemently nodding yes. That trophy. This will not go well for Tricky if he asks me the question that he wants to ask me.
Somebody said Roberto Love says flaccid pizza is accurate. And then Kayla says deep dish.
Hey, we can all agree in our united hatred of Detroit style.
Whatever the hell that is.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Jets is Detroit style pizza, but I still can't figure what makes it Detroit style. What is Detroit style?
It's square and sad.
Fair enough. Hey, Tricky, just to show you what you're missing in the world of pizza, down here in Kentucky, we've got a chicken and waffles pizza in December. One of the restaurants called The Post bust out their chicken and waffles.
Seriously?
Yeah. And Jeff, you're from the area, so.
So hold on a second. I'm sorry, Alex. A Detroit style pizza is just squares?
I mean, it's a big square cut into squares.
Yeah, and it's like a thicker, breadier crust. but
That's not the choice, though. New York invented that.
Oh, no. You don't get to try and cover up the flaccid slice by saying that you then gave the better pizza to Detroit.
Hold on a second.
We can both hate on Detroit pizza, but I'll still agree that Detroit pizza is better than New York.
Hold on a second.
Because when you pick a piece up, it doesn't go blue and all the
You mean
stuff
it doesn't look
flies
like a piece of wet cardboard?
Right. When you invent a pizza where you have to take a pie slice and fold it in half longitudinally to give it the structure to hold it till you bite into it, that's just an engineering failure on a grand scale.
Oh, I'm sending a picture in the Skype chat right now. I want to know if this is what you. Oh, I can't. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Hold on. Because I don't have Skype on my phone.
Thrilling audio.
I can't.
All of this pizza talk, considering we had awesome pizza tonight, I think I may go have one of my leftover slices. That said, Tricky, do you want to land this thing so I don't have to edit? Oh, Jesus Christ, 2.5 hours.
Well, do you want to figure out the last comments from
So, where were we? Rick said he'd visit Italy.
Sorry.
Caneless did a weird face. Robot Love said flaccid pizza is accurate. Caneless said deep dish. Redbeard Rick and I are going back and forth about anime stuff. Roboto Love says Detroit style is getting shot while you're eating it. That's a pleasant thought. Kayla says, as a person born and raised most of my life in Brooklyn, I confirm Tricky is right. The first pineapple put on pizza happened in New York. That's all I'm saying. That's Roboto Love.
Well played.
All right, yeah. All right, Tricky, let's bring it home.
All right, let's do some shout-outs. Alex, your shout-out, sir.
So I say it every week, and I'm sure it sounds scripted at this point, but our community, the fuel to the fire of this Trophy Horse, has willed us to 600. It's even if you like podcasting with the people you podcast with, getting to this point is not easy because doing this every week, especially when you have to edit, sorry, Matt, is kind of like a part-time job. It's a very thankless job. But luckily the community that we built has, as we've gotten from Sid and Nitro and so many people who sent in, audio, Daryl, Zach, the community, I get that we feel the love. We feel that the community really appreciates what we do as much as we appreciate them and how much they support us. So thank you all very much for being a part of our community. We had a new listener comment tonight. So whether you're a new listener or you've been listening back since Sarcastic Gamer Community Podcast, we thank you all very much. Give a shout out to Matt, Yield and Tricky for joining me regularly on this podcast, giving up your Saturday night or your Sunday nights. And of course, Jeff, for being on such a momentous podcast. Jeff being on makes it so much better. So 600 plus, thanks to Jeff coming on. And last but not least, even though she threw me under the bus tonight and told lies about my ability to play Rocket League, shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hun. And that's going to round it out for me.
She threw one more jab in you there at the end, Alex.
You can't throw me under the bus twice. I'm dead after the first time.
She said,
shout out.
Back it up. Make sure she got
Ashley
you.
said, shout out to me for putting up with Alex being obnoxious for at least 300 plus episodes. Get good, Alex.
Guess who has to put up with me being obnoxious more than anybody? Yeah, take that.
And Rick says shout out to Ashley, by the way.
No end then.
Yield your shout out, sir.
Shout out to Jeff for coming on, hanging out with us. Shout out to, everybody who was in the Twitch chat tonight. I think that was probably our most populated Twitch chat. There was a ton of people in there. I won't remember all your names. Shout out to Tricky, Matt, and Alex for recording tonight. And as always, a shout out to the awesome pimps and madams of the Whoredom that we have for, hanging out like tonight, downloading the shows every week, interacting with us in the Facebook group, coming playing games with us occasionally. That's awesome. So hats off to you guys as well, because it's not only our accomplishment, it's your guys's as well.
Matt, your shout out, sir.
Shout out to my wife V. Thanks for doing everything you do. Heal up fast so we can get back to adventuring like we normally do. Shout out to the Channel 3 community, stopping by to Channel 3. That way you can come by and gamify your social media. That's channel3.gg. Shout out to the community. Thank you, everybody in chat tonight. Almost too many of you to name, but again, Thomas, Redbeard Rick, Ashley, Skull Viper, Roboto Love, Caneless, Dex. Trying to find that. There were a lot of you in chat tonight. Thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate you all coming by, supporting the show, supporting me as I got my feet wet. Special shout out to the hosts and our guests tonight, Jeff, Tricky, Alex, Yield. This is a really good show. I appreciate you giving me time to run with it and do something a little different than what we normally do. And, special shout out as well to, again, Trophy Horrors, as well as the Loop Bros, who got me into podcasting and really kind of helped me get to where I am and allow me to share my voice and stupid opinions with everybody. But that's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
I'm going to go to Jeff in a second, but I just want to put an effort in the chat for Skull, because half the things he said today got censored. Rick comes back and goes, dude, you're always swearing. It's just missed typos. I guess the Twitch chat thinks he's cursing. Jeff, your shout out, sir.
All of you, and including the community, for inviting me back to put up with my shit multiple times. I know sometimes it's hard to schedule with me, and I've had to cancel at the last minute a couple of times, so thank you for being accommodating. All Chicago-style pizzas, and as I've said on every one of them, big shout-out to the Girl Scouts for Thin Mint cookies.
Yeah, that does throw me back. It threw me for a loop. It's funny because Skull just typed fuck in the chat, and Rick's typing the see you next Tuesday in the chat. It's not censoring them, so I have no idea why it's censoring Skull. Because those are the two most vulgar words you can say in the Twitch chat, and yeah, it's going through. I don't know, Skull. I don't know what you're typing, but shout out to every single person that's ever listened to the show. I'm gonna have to go back, but I might misspeak here, but the fact that this show has been downloaded over 100 million times is absolutely fucking insane to me.
I don't believe you.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Where's my endorsement check?
Listen, if I get an endorsement check, you would share in the love of that. Trust me. Shout out to every single person. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I mean, as I sit here and I try to prep for these episodes, and the fact that we've done 600 episodes, which translates into 12 years of podcasting. Well, it's actually over 12 years, because when you add in the weeks we missed, the bonus shows, the fireside chats, we gotten together to talk about E3 or whatever the case may be. It's like we've done well over 600 episodes, but it's just 600 official numbered episodes. That's absolutely insane to me. Well, I don't count those because those are Patreon. But
what are the other episodes? The game one.
Game Awards, Video Game Awards.
No, not Game Awards. The ones where we would play a game and talk about it.
Spoilers, PG spoilers.
PG spoilers. Thank you, Alex. PG spoilers. The greatest podcast that never got released. The greatest episode that never got released. Not letting that go.
Yeah, everybody that's ever been involved in any of these episodes. I mean, shout out to here's where nobody expects Tricky to do this. Shout out to Hard Rockin' Guy. Shout out to Donnie. Shout out to Titanic Wang. Shout out to Moonshiner. Shout out to Mark. I just forgot your name for a second because I was trying to remember.
Lucia.
Shout out to every single host that's been a part of the show. I mean, good, bad, and different. At this point, we may not get along, we may not talk, but the fact of the matter is, this show survived because of hosts like that. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff, you've been an incredible friend throughout the years. It's it really warms my heart that I have a friend like you that I can talk to, and I'm truly honored to be your friend, and I'm not saying that just because you're on the show or because you come on the shows. It's really an honor to know you, and Dad.
Ditto, and right back at you. And for those listening who may not know, we've never met in person.
No,
we are entirely virtual friends, and it's a friendship I cherish 100%.
Fun fact: I've never met Alex in real life. We were supposed to meet at the PAX, but unfortunately, circumstances didn't meet. I've met Yield one time in real life, and that was at PAX.
Yeah.
And yesterday was Donnie, and yesterday was the first time I ever met Matt in person.
You're like, fix my RGB shit.
And Matt's like, it's the last time you'll ever meet me in person.
Were you
Be moving soon.
were you there when I kind of made the joke with Donnie?
What was the joke?
If he ever got the feeling that he was the token black guy.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think we were all sitting down for lunch, for supper or something, and I kind of said, "I'm not being mean, Donnie." I said, "But do you ever feel like you're the token black guy?" Because he was the only black guy with a bunch of white people.
I remember going to that PAX. I know we're in shoutouts. I'm sorry. I remember going to that PAX, and Donnie and Yield and his wife were all flying in, but Yield's flight was like 2 hours later than Donnie's. So rather than go to the hotel, I picked Donnie up from the hotel, and then we went to an authentic Italian restaurant. And we sat.
No. We all did that later.
No, we did that again.
Oh, okay.
But I bring Donnie into the restaurant, and Donnie, being Donnie, doesn't want to order real food, so all he orders is a salad. And then they asked him, what do you want with the salad? He said French dressing, and the waitress almost lost her shit. And Donnie's like, what did I do wrong? It was absolutely funny.
Everything.
So
you don't go into Olive Garden and ask for French dressing.
Roberto Love wants to know, when I met Matt in real life, was there a kiss? I said, no, there was not a kiss. I don't even think we hugged, or I think we fist pounded at the end. Matt's looking at the chat like, what the hell's going on?
And that was enough.
Somebody's going to type fist pounding to see if that's the word.
Don't do it in the search engine because you won't like what you
Ever since we started doing shout-outs, the chat's got crazy, so I'm like trying to watch it to make sure I don't miss anything. Back to the shout-outs. Shout-out to the goddess who has put up with my shit while I was podcasting. Shout-out to Sweet Mama D, who sacrifices 2 to 3 hours of her Sunday every week with me so I can sit down and podcast. I asked her if she wanted to say something on episode 600, because at the show, she goes, no, that's your thing, Dad. I don't want to get involved in that. It's Ted 4. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Some of the people that have popped into the chat are long friends. Skull, I've known you for 20 years from when I lived down in Virginia. Dude, you are always in my thoughts and whatnot. And I'm not going to go into details, but we have a long history in our relationship, and I will never take that for granted.
Hopefully lots of fist pounding.
But I want to give a special shout out to Ashley, to Amy, and to Veronica, and especially to the goddess. They are the counterparts to all 4 of us. They allow us with the patience to do this every single week. It cannot be understated how much time they sacrifice with everybody here to allow us to do this. So, we may be the faces of the show, but they are the backbone that will allow us to podcast every single week and bring you these shows. So I want to give a special shout out to everybody there. With that being said, if there's nothing else, until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
All hail Megatron.
Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.